R.C. Slocum is one of the few defensive minds that's had success against the run-and-shoot Houston Cougars. His teams have harassed many a Cougar quarterback over the last few years, like David Dacus, and even Heisman Trophy winner Andre Ware, or even the current Cougar marksman David Klingler. Today from Kyle Field, R.C. Slocum turns his quarterback-crunching defense loose again on HSE. Today's game is being brought to you by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 20 years of providing everyday low fares and convenient flights to many exciting destinations. And by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when. From Kyle Field in College Station, Texas, Home Sports Entertainment presents the best in Southwest Conference football. Today, the 13th-ranked Aggies of Texas A&M host the Houston Cougars. And hello again, everyone. I'm Greg Lucas. I'll be joined by Ed Biles for the description of our battle this afternoon between Texas A&M and Houston. This is an extremely important game for both teams, really. Houston needs to show that it really has something after coming back in a big victory last week against SMU. They need to show they can do it against top teams. The Aggies, on the other hand, it's very important for them simply because they are, well, at least in the loss column, tied for the top spot in the Southwest Conference. Arkansas with an impressive start with a 4-0 mark. The Aggies need to keep pace as they have more games to make up with the rest of the teams, TCU, Baylor, Texas, Rice, Houston, Texas Tech, and SMU in that order as play begins in this afternoon's activity. Ed Biles alongside again for the description of our ball game. And Ed, we really have two teams with contrasting offensive styles, and I think we got to start with the home team when we talk about the styles, because it's a Texas A&M tradition. You run the ball and you do it well, and they've got a freshman named Greg Hill has been doing just that.
Well, he's been doing exceptionally well, Greg, and he's well on his way to breaking all the freshman rushing records at A&M. He only needs 95 more yards. He has five more games. He's going to be well over 1,000. He not only has speed, but he's also extremely elusive, and I think that's aided him tremendously in this early season.
He's had an outstanding season up to this point. He is a player that, of course, the Houston defense has to slow down. What about the other side of the ball? Well, the Aggies have actually, as we indicated on the tees, had pretty good success at times against the Houston quarterbacks. David Klingler is back in this one today after missing last week, actually a game and a half due to dizziness, and it'll be a lot of load on his shoulders.
Yeah, I really think they may be rushing him back too fast, Greg, to be perfectly honest. I'm not so sure that he's completely healthy. The heat out here today, I think, will be very tough on David. I think he might be forcing things. I would not be a bit surprised to see the other quarterback, Douglas, in there, who could do a good job against the blitzes that he's going to see. Klingler, of course, I think he wants to play. He's a competitor. He's a great quarterback, but I just don't know whether he's really 100% for this football game today.
Boy, this is a tough one to have to come back against the Aggies with the traditionally strong defense that R.C. Slocum can throw at them. That brings us to the keys to winning, Ed, because the keys to winning, we've got separate keys for both teams this week because both teams are so much different.
Well, they really are contrasting teams, but, you know, when the keys to winning for Houston, they've been blitzed all the time that they played the Aggies. They've got to pick up the blitzing linebackers. Linebackers have accounted for 16 of the 26 sacks. They got to score points. I think they get at least 30 points or more, and they have to stop the A&M running game. If they can take the ball and just drive it down their throats with Hill and Carter and those backs, Houston would be in trouble.
On the A&M side?
Well, A&M, I think they average 4 yards per better every time they rush the ball. They'll be in good shape. They must win the turnover battle. They can't allow Houston to have the ball much more times than they have, and they obviously have to pressure Klingler. If David gets time, I think he'll come back and play well, but if he doesn't get time, it's going to be awful difficult for him.
Houston won the game last time it was played, or last year, I should say, in Houston because of the turnovers. But the Aggies, though they have a young team, have not been turning the ball over much this year. You stay with us. We'll take a look at the starting lineups, get the game underway from Kyle Field. It's coming up next right here. Field in College Station, Texas, the site of this afternoon's battle, Southwest Conference style, between the University of Houston and Texas A&M. As we indicated in the opening comments, Arkansas leads the Southwest Conference, but R.C. Slocum's Aggies are 2-0, 4-1 overall. The only loss coming to Tulsa, non-conference game in which starting quarterback Bucky Richardson did not play. The Houston Cougars are 1-2 in conference play. They are 2-4 overall, and John Jenkins has his regular quarterback, David Klingler, set to return to action as he's working with Wiggum. Remember, Wiggum, the center in the game last week, centering for the first time, and had the now he's working with his fourth different quarterback. He used 3 quarterbacks last week, Donald Douglas, Jimmy Klingler, and Chandler Evans, and now he's having to work with yet another.
And he's going to be working with a tremendous defensive nose guard right in front of him. Pat Henry, a sophomore who is 6'1", 270-pounder, so he's going to look at another different problem than he had to look last week because he was uncovered.
Let's take a look at our officials for the game this afternoon. The referee, Bud Alexander, George Coleman, the umpire, linesman Don Brown, Warren Pfeiffer, the line judge, field judge Richard Wittenberg, Mike Wetzel is the side judge, and Larry Gerard is the back judge. In the opening comments, we indicated that Greg Hill, a freshman running back from the Aggies, I think I misspoke and called him a true freshman. The true freshman that is making the news with the Aggies is Sam Adams on defense. We'll hear from Sam. He's a left end. Greg was a red shirt. Let's take a look at the weather conditions. It's an 86-degree temperature with a humidity 65%. The wind's out of the south at 10. The sky's partly cloudy, and weatherman Ed Biles says we might have something moving in, right?
Oh, well, I smell it in the air, Greg. My nose tells me about halftime we may have some thunderstorms coming in here. So I think the Aggies would love to jump up and get on top of this ball game.
Well, I know that in the northern part of the state, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, that was the case. Deandra Sanders and Torrin Polk are back to receive the opening kickoff. K.O. Graves is also in an up position as we're just about set to get underway. The Aggies actually won the toss. They elected to make their decision known in the second half, and so they will have the choice in the second half. As we're just about set, the Aggies defense, of course, hoping to see what they can do. K.O. Graves is at the top of the screen, and number 33, Torrin Polk on the near side with the center position, Deandra Sanders, number 31. There are actually 3 people back. There you see Torrin Polk. Polk has been the most productive of the kick returners. He's had the most opportunities in recent weeks. And the wind is whistling, so they're going to have to hold the ball for Venetoulis to get it up in the air on the 35-yard line. There will be no return out of the end zone. And Houston will come out to the 20-yard line and see what the offense can do against this very, very tough Aggie defense. David Klingler returning to the lineup after 6 quarters of being sidelined. The senior quarterback from Houston, Texas, still one of the statistical leaders in the nation and in the conference. 59% pass completion, 13 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. His lone running back is Ostel Miles, back in after well, all of a sudden the Aggies say there was some movement on the line. Pat Henry came across and he said he saw something.
Well, the flag came from the referee, Greg, which usually indicates someone on the offensive side. He threw the flag in the offensive team's backfield. This should be an interesting call.
I think it may be going the other way, and it is. It's going against the Aggies, offside. Well, Pat saw something that no one else did. Let's see if the right guard moves.
Well, he moved after the movement of the nose guard. I think the nose guard was claiming that Klingler had done some movement in there.
1st and 5. The ball on the 25-yard line for David Klingler and his team. It is tough to change the call at the line of scrimmage. Inside, actually passed, and a loss on the play as it went to Tracy Good. Jason Atkinson, the inside linebacker, diagnosed it, and pressure put on by Pat Henry. Yep. Let's take a look at the Cougar offensive line. The Cougars will try to go with Geisler, Jeff Tate, Bragg Wiggum, we talked about, moved into the center. He's the 4th center used this year. Jason Youngblood and Darryl Clapp, the sophomore from Corpus Christi. Ostel Miles back in the lineup. John Brown 3 back in the lineup after missing a game. Fred Gilbert, Verlon Brown, Marcus Grant. Pass is incomplete. It'll be 3rd. Quarterback pressure again, this time by linebacker Quentin Coriat, although really I think the coverage has to be given some credit there because he had some time to look downfield.
Well, you're looking at two great cornerbacks for the Aggies, Derek Fraser and Kevin Smith, the senior, two cornerbacks. So I think they're going to do a lot of man-to-man with those outside corners because they have great confidence in their ability to cover the receivers.
There's that freshman we're talking about. This is a true freshman, Sam Adams, and he is a super one. Henry and Teichelman up front. The backers, Buckley, Atkinson, Coriat, and Neely, always a strong point. And veteran defensive back Kevin Smith, of course, he's got the records, Bate, Crooms, and Derek Fraser. Third down and about 7.
There's that nose guard.
Trouble. Heaves it up in the air. Anybody's ball. It's out of bounds by 5 yards, and the Aggies will get the ball in good field position because the Cougars will punt with a wind against them. Sam Adams putting the pressure on early. And Houston actually loses about a yard on the 3 plays as they gained 5 on the penalty and end up on 4th and 6.
Number 26,
Kevin Smith will be back.
Well, Aggies showed great confidence in their defense by deferring their choice until the second half, and it paid off for them, so they should wind up with great field position, their first possession of the football.
Again, the punt will be going into the wind off of Langston's foot, averaging right in the 45 per punt area, but unless he gets a good roll here, he's not going to get that far. He got a good one, though. Smith calling for the fair catch, has to go back to his 26 and can't go up with it. He had second thoughts once he caught it as he saw some open field, but couldn't move. He called for the fair catch. Good punt. 51 yards into the wind.
And with great hang time. That was a 4.2 hang time on the football. That's why he signaled for the fair catch.
There's Bucky Richardson, the quarterback who is maligned for not having a great arm, but he's a winner. 6'2", 221-pound senior out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The only game he has missed this year, the Aggies lost. The only game the Aggies have lost. And the first give goes right up the middle to Doug Carter. And Carter gains short yardage right up the middle. Let's take a look at the Aggie offensive line. They'll be blocking for Mr. Carter and company. Wesley Harrison, Dowson, John Ellisor. You see him pictured in Keith Alex. Backs and receivers include Harrison, Short, Carter, Greg Hill, the freshman we talked about, the red shirt from Dallas Carter, and Brian Mitchell. And, of course, they're going against a Cougar front line that has only 2 seniors. James Bevel making the tackle on that first play. Big hole, first down. That's Greg Hill. Hill works it off the right side. Kevin Batiste comes up from his safety spot to make the tackle. And that will be a first down. Let's take a look at the Cougar defensive unit. James Bevel, the man we mentioned making the first tackle, with Glenn Cadrez, who is a senior. They're the only 2 seniors. Sam Faita, a transfer from junior college, and Alden Aldridge, a sophomore. The linebackers have Eric Blunt, Ryan McCoy, Tyrone Davis, potentially good, a good linebacking core. And the defensive backs, we'll take a look in a moment. It is a first down. The ball is at the 43. Hill struggles forward, gets about 4. Good run by Hill to the 43-yard line. Glenn Cadrez, the tackle. Now, quickly, let's take a look at the Cougar defensive backfield. Steve Harris, he's in for Jerry Parks, who was hurt a couple of weeks ago. Kevin Batiste, Kenny Perry, the veteran. You see him, and John W. Brown out of Amarillo. You'll also see occasionally John Brown from Leesville, Louisiana. Not to be confused with John Brown III, who is an offensive player. Second down and about 6. Nothing going for Hill. It's a fake, and the pass downfield is complete at the 10-yard line. Bucky Richardson bombs it down to Brian Mitchell, and Kevin Batiste, the last man to stop the play. What an excellent fake by quarterback Bucky Richardson.
Well, what a great job off play action. Watch the patience that Bucky has. He sticks it in there. Now look, he put it back behind him. A la Boomer Esiason. He has tremendous confidence that he hides the ball behind his back. Now look at the touch he has on it to get it down there. Look at the freshman redshirt Brian Mitchell lay out and make a tremendous catch. Well executed play by the Aggies.
Nothing wrong with the arm on that one. And it's a first down, and it's goal to go at the 10-yard line. This time Hill has the carry to the 5. 5-yard pickup for the freshman. It is Sam Faita making the tackle.
Well, an outstanding blocking job in it by Chris Dawson, a sophomore, and Tyler Harrison, a sophomore left guard. It's a young Aggie offensive line, Greg. They've only got one senior, the right tackle, Keith Alex, but that time they went to the left side where they got Wesley, Harrison, and Dawson, 3 sophomores.
That's why this was a hard team to handicap before the season, because the Aggies traditionally recruit well, but until you've seen them play, it's tough to really know how well they're going to come together, and they've come together very well. Bucky Richardson option. Maybe a yard, that's about all. He's stacked up by McCoy. Also, Batiste coming in to help out from his deep back spot. You see number 40, Papaniff out there, Cadrez. It'll be a second down in about 4. Third down in about, yeah, they haven't moved the change yet. It'll be third down in about 4.
Well, they got goal to go, third down. That formation was pretty obvious from the Aggie standpoint, and the Cougars jumped right to it. They had all the backs to the right side, and the Cougars just slanted the line and went that way to make that play.
Hill is the man in the back of the I formation. He's not getting the ball. Richardson rolling. Little pop. Touchdown, Texas A&M. Give credit to James McKeon, 88, who has moved his way up on this roster. Having not played as much earlier, he's the tight end. He's actually third tight end listed.
Well, again, it's a play-action pass. He rolls out to his right. Now the defensive back is in between. He doesn't know whether to come up and play the running play or to go back and play the receiver. He comes off the receiver. McKeon, the tight end, and Bucky shows good poise, just dumps it out there to him for a touchdown.
That's only the 4th pass he has caught this year. Second touchdown. The extra point is good. And with 11 minutes and 1 second to go in the first quarter, the Aggies off to a strong start, leading 7-0.
Ever since Southwest Airlines extended our Friends Fly Free sale, people have gotten even friendlier.
Sugar Plum, your favorite pillow.
If you make reservations and buy your round-trip ticket at our regular low unrestricted fare, a friend gets to fly with you free all the way through February.
Hey, Dad, seen the head trimmer?
And now you can buy tickets till January 15th.
Here's that putter I borrowed last year. Oh, buddy.
Southwest Airlines Friends Fly Free sale. It's great for your pocketbook and your popularity.
When doctors were asked which of these 2 pain relief formulas they preferred,
number 1,
they chose the Goodies formula by more than 3-1 over BC's. And when people in the South,
Goodies,
choose their number 1 headache powder,
Why, Goodies, of course.
Goodies wins again, because Goodies has the formula most doctors preferred, and BC doesn't. Goodies. No wonder it's the South's number 1 headache powder.
Once again, Buick is raising the banner for quality in America. Introducing the 1992 LeSabre with a higher level of power, safety, security, and convenience. This new LeSabre is going to be one tough act to follow. LeSabre for 1992 from Buick.
Nothing. McKeon getting his second touchdown catch. And let's take a look at the play. Bucky Richardson again, another good play fake to freeze the defense.
Well, he's a little kind of fake inside. Now he's rolling out to his left. And in this particular situation, Dixon, number 29, isn't sure whether he should come up or stay back, and he's got no man's land in between. Bucky just lays it in there to McKeon, and the touchdown, and he knows it, gives a touchdown signal. And well on his way to the early good starts that the Aggies have been having all year. They had just jumped on top of teams in the first quarter of the football season this year.
McKeon, the man who caught the pass, is a true freshman. Another one of these young Aggies, 6'4", 230 from Willis. Not far from here, right up I-45, a little north of Houston.
Well, they played 6 games this year, Greg, and they've scored on their first possession in all 6 football games. What a way to start every game out.
Well, they had a big lead last year against Houston. This one took 3:01, 7 plays, 73 yards, a 3-yard touchdown pass, Richardson to McKeon.
And that's exactly what the Cougars hopefully wouldn't happen to them, that they'd get fall behind early.
Another long kick. That will not be returned. No chance as it goes out of the end zone. Torrin Polk got a hand on it. Now the Cougars will have their second offensive set in the first series. They actually actually went 4 yards, but none of it on their own. The 5 yards they received on a penalty and then lost a yard before the down series was over. And they had to punt, 51-yard punt, but a long pass, 48-yard pass play from Richardson got the Aggie fans, and there is a large group of them here, ecstatic, down to the 10-yard line, and then the touchdown pass made it 7-0. Let's see what the Cougars can do with their second possession. Running back is offset. That's Ostel Miles, 34. He gives it to Ostel. He loses 3. No room at all. The only place he went, there was a lot of maroon-clad Aggies. Marcus Buckley, the first man to pop through. Sam Adams, the defensive end, and Pat Henry, they all closed the gap.
Well, with the one linebacker routine, I watch those linebackers go right to the spot where he's trying to run. See all the linebackers in? See 44. See, of course, 59 is in there. Lance Tuckham, the defensive lineman. They're just playing that one running back in there, and not a very good job by the offensive line blocking.
R.C. Slocum has seen his team give up some yards to Houston, but they've only lost once during the era of the run and shoot. There's a big completion to Grant. Grant cuts inside, and he's got the first down across the 30. Jason Atkinson with the tackle, and that's the kind of pass play, Ed, you're going to have to see, I think, if Houston's going to have success. That short pass and then hopefully longer run.
Well, when you catch a team playing a lot of man-to-man, you want to use crossing patterns because sometimes you get people lost in the picking area. See him coming off. Now you can see Grant coming down underneath. The other receiver was looking for the pick, and turns it into the first down.
Right at the 30. That's all the farther they had to get. They had an automatic starting at the 20, so it's a first down. Houston's first.
The other good thing about that, it was a quick throwing pass. You can't get pressure on Klingler when he delivers quick.
Looks the other way, completes it at the 30. He'll gain 5, maybe 10, and maybe 12 as the ball is completed on the far side of the field there. John Brown 3. And that's another first down for Houston.
Well, that's a run and shoot screen where they throw the ball to the outside receiver, and he comes back to the inside looking for the offensive lineman coming out. Take a look now. When this ball is delivered, you see the offensive lineman. See 69, see the offensive lineman. Now, Brown is going to come back, should try to come back and get underneath him, which he does late there. Picks up the blocker. Normally, he'll try to work back underneath those linemen coming out.
Geisler actually took a couple of people down. John Brown 3 missed last week's game with an injury, and he is back. It is first down at the 42-yard line for the Cougars. Texas A&M leading, and if it's snapped, and it will be, is there a flag? Yeah, there it is. Should be a free play for Houston. Well, they gained just about what I think they're going to get. Kerry Vincent on the stop. Pat Henry put some pressure on, but I believe that he was the man across the line, and we'll wait and unsort it.
It's kind of one of the plays that drives coaches crazy. The man right in front of the center, football's right in front of him, and he jumps offside by listening to the quarterback's voice, and the inflection of the quarterback's voice should never draw him offside. He should be looking at the football.
Yeah, they're going to probably take the
offside defense, 5-yard penalty.
They gained about an extra yard by taking it. Let's take a look at it again, and notice how quickly they snap it.
See, he's right around it. He's right at the football. He should be looking exactly at that football, not listening to David's voice. And check the whole play here now. He's got a free play. He knows it. But the good thing now, he's working on the short completions, and maybe the receivers can turn them into long gains. That's what they will have to do. They have to have patience.
1st and 5, the ball at the 47, Cougar 47. There's the give off inside on the running play, and another first down picked up by Ostel Miles. Kerry Vincent then making the stop. Mike Geisler again, a nice block. Geisler doing a good job. Of course, he's one of the veterans, 3-year senior. Miles missed last week's game for disciplinary reasons, and with that 7.5 average, you kind of want him in there.
Take a look at the offensive line blocking here now. The ball snapped. Watch the white jerseys. See the right guard pulling across there, leading the play. Kick out on the trap. Excellent job in there by Jason Youngblood. 6'4", 280-pound junior getting the trap block for him. Cougars got a nice drive going, Greg.
They're across the 45 to the 44-yard line. Now Klingler's trying to readjust his receivers, bringing Grant in a bit.
Derek Fraser invited him to throw to the outside receiver. There's a pick underneath again.
And across the 40 down to about the 37-yard line. That'll be short of a first down. Verlon Brown making the catch. Run out of bounds by Chris Crooms. Going to be second about 2.
Now take a look at what they're doing is he's recognizing that A&M is in man-to-man. You can see the inside receiver coming to the outside, which forces the defensive back Chris Grooms to come a long way. That means that their safeties are having to cover those little receivers coming to the outside when they catch them in man-to-man. Good audible by Klingler at the line of scrimmage.
Burlon has had another outstanding season. The Cougars have a second down and 2 with 8:58 to go in the first quarter. The Aggies lead it 7-0. On the 36. Again, the handoff. Fumbled, and the Aggies have the football. The ball was coughed up by Ostel Miles. And it looked like Marcus Buckley. That's who we're going to credit with the recovery. Let's take a look at it inside, and let's see if Miles did it all by himself.
I think Teckelman, watch Lance Teckelman come down through there. Right there, Teckelman looked like he got his hand on it a little bit. Forced the ball coming out, and let's see who comes up with it. We really can't tell who comes up with it.
I think Buckley was the one who was finally underneath there, number 9. Let's take a look at it again.
Another angle. There they come down to the inside. Could be Buckley. Could have been Buckley underneath it getting the
Oriat's in there reaching for it. In any event, it's a first down for the Aggies. Short drop. Pump fake. Throw long. Overthrown. Incomplete. Second down and 10. John W. Brown on defense closely there. Bucky Richardson. You know, it's almost a lost art, Ed. One thing Bucky does so well that you don't see quarterbacks do as well as I think they once did is exactly what we've seen so far. Ball handling, faking. He is good at it.
Well, I think the guy who has helped an awful lot is Boomer Esiason for the Bengals. He does a great job of the play-action fake. And watching this on Sunday, I think a lot of these quarterbacks recognize what he's done to his football team.
Second down and 10. He wanted to move Carter in a little tighter into the eye. Carter gets the handoff and gets short yardage off and across to about the 37-yard line. Only maybe a yard gain, if that. It'll be third down. Kenny Perry and Evan Blunt, Eric Blunt coming through to make the tackle. Sam Fajita also gets a mention on that play as it was a group effort by the Cougars. It'll be third down and long. Third and we'll say 8. A&M leads it 7-0. This is the second series of possessions. Richardson. Well, he threw that one behind his intended receiver, and it was incomplete. It was intended for Brian Mitchell, and they just weren't on the same page. John Brown was close by, but I think he
anticipated Brian Mitchell kind of curling a little bit to the outside, not coming back in so far, and Bucky delivered it where he thought Mitchell would be, but Mitchell worked down into the inside a little bit farther.
That was an important defensive series for Houston because they had given up the ball on a turnover, and that can sometimes deflate you, but instead the defense does better than it did in the first series.
And plus the fact, I think offensively, the Cougars got a little confidence in that last series by moving the ball the way they did.
Stephen Harris is back deep to take the punt. And he gets the win behind that one. Steve always going to take it on the 4. Got to get to the 20 to make it plus yardage, and he's a little short because it would have gone into the end zone. It'll be first down for 15.
Well, they just violated the number one principle that as special teams coaches, I'm sure he's been told a lot of times, never to back up inside the 10 to catch a punt.
56-yard punt with the win. We'll take a break and return. 8:04 to go in the first. The Aggies lead it 7-0. Lovely afternoon up to this point in College Station as the Aggies lead the Cougars 7-0. It will be Houston's football on the Cougar 15. This will be in the third drive for Houston. The first one went nowhere, lost a yard. The Aggies scored on a touchdown drive that included a 48-yard pass play from Bucky Richardson and then a 10-yard or 3-yard touchdown pass to McCarron. And now, after Houston drives but fumbles the football, the Aggies are held and forced to punt without a first down, and David Klingler will see what he can do here. Well, he's talking to Donald Douglas over there. That's John Jenkins. The Aggies have changed a few defensive alignments. As you see, Klingler 4 out of 6 for 29 yards. He has gone short and let him try to run longer.
Well, they're showing man-to-man coverage again, and now David is audible, and prior to this, he's been audible and going to the...
Well, that time he wanted to go to Grant long, but there's a flag on the play.
Yeah, again, I think the delay of the game, they may have gone over the 25-second count with him trying to audible this play.
Yep, that's the call. Of course, this is a loud place to play. It's a tough place to audibilize.
Well, one of the other things also is that he's looking over to Coach Jenkins to get the plays from the sideline. You see him right now. He's looking at Coach Jenkins, who's giving him the plays. Now he has to give it to the team, and they get out of the huddle. Now when he gets up the line of scrimmage and tries to change the play again, sometimes he's running real close with that 25-second count.
Aggies have brought a pretty good number of second-unit defenders in now. It's a warm day on the field. It was a fairly long drive last time. Klingler roll. He's dumped. Mark Wheeler, the backup nose guard, who had a knee injury last year. And Eric England put some pressure on. These are the backups at right end and nose guard respectively. They come through and sack Mr. Klingler.
Now he's trying to roll out to his left. Now again, there's no one open right now. He has time to throw this one. Now the protection obviously is going to break down. And as you said, Mark Wheeler comes in there, the 270-pound senior, and they're going to alternate him. They feel they have 8 defensive linemen that they can play down in and down out and keep fresh people so that they're fresh in the fourth quarter.
You may have seen on that replay, number 34, Ostel Miles, looked like he was a dump-off possibility, if nothing else, to dump it and drop it to keep away from the sack. There's a shovel pass, and there's the dump-off, and a big gain up to the 20-yard line by Ostel Miles, short of the first down, but he's only about 5 yards short. Jason Atkinson making the stop, along with Otis Neely putting some pressure on.
Well, this is kind of a middle screen off the run and shoot. You see him going out to his left. You can see the Miles establish his position. You can see the offensive line out in front of him, but they still had a long way to go to pick up that first down. Still going to be 3rd down and 6.
They are within range, however, a little better range. Ostel Miles, the junior college transfer from Denver.
Again, the quick short pass has been successful for the Cougars.
3rd and 6, and the fans here are not going to let Klingler here to make the audible call. He's sacked. Jason Atkinson really came blasting through, and that will take care of this Cougar drive, which again goes in reverse.
Well, right now, the linebacker to the side that David is going to scramble to. Graham's going to come out to his right. Watch the linebacker to that side. The inside linebacker, he comes through after David starts to the outside and comes up underneath untouched. An easy sack for Atkinson.
And now tough punting position. And here's the finish of that play again with Atkinson.
Well, that's his 3rd sack of the year.
The punt is away into the wind. This time the wind catches it. Kevin Smith will fair catch at the Houston 44-yard line. That's where the Aggies will get the football. They lead it 7-0 with 5:47 to go in the first. Langston this time couldn't cut it through the wind.
Looked to me, Greg, that series, what the Aggies were doing, two inside linebackers, whichever side David goes to, that linebacker is going to try to blitz up there and put pressure on him, get up in his face. And the other linebacker is going to sit in there and play the S-back, in this particular case, Miles or Guy or Sanders, who's ever in there, that they're going to play him man-on-man and try to pick up the short screens and the plays that they run with that S-back.
Ryan Matthews wide to the top of the screen for the Aggies as they have a 1st and 10 at the Houston, we'll call it the 44. And not much room there for Greg Hill. He's brought down after a short gain. Aldridge and Bevel and Weatherspoon, they were all crunching the middle there. Glenn Cadres, and they unpile. Greg Hill, freshman redshirt, had 212 yards in his first varsity game versus Louisiana State. That was the record for a freshman in their debut game. 221 yards. He's a Dallas Carter X. Needed 95 yards coming into play here to be the first Aggie running back, or to be number 1 as an Aggie running back.
Well, I predict, Greg, if he stays healthy, he'll hold all the Aggie rushing records before he graduates. He's great.
Well, he's got the carry here. Nice cutback, but he stopped at about the 39-yard line. It'll be 3rd and long. Ryan McCoy stayed home, Beaumont's sophomore linebacker. And that will make it a 3rd and about 3.
Now take a look at the option play. Fake to the fullback coming inside. Right there's the fake. Down the line of scrimmage. Makes the pitch. There goes Hill to the outside. And there's the thing about him. He can stop and cut on a dime and cut back to the inside. Very elusive. He picked up 3 or 4 yards there on a play that really didn't look that good.
1 out of 2 on 3rd down plays for the Aggies. Fumble picked up nicely, but they're going to have to punt as they gain no yardage on the play. Kenny Perry makes the stop.
I think the thing that's been impressive so far from Houston's standpoint, Greg, is their defensive line has been able to stand in there and fight against the offensive line. A lot of people thought that the Aggies would be able to run tackle to tackle inside and just move them off the line of scrimmage. So far, the Cougar defensive line has held in there strong.
And this is a large Aggie offensive line across the interior. The starters are 275, 265, 264, 275, 285. And then you throw in some tight ends that weigh anywhere from 230 to 240.
That was a great series defensively for Houston. After the short punt, Aggies taken over in their territory, and they held them, forcing the Aggies to punt.
Kenny Perry dropped back, and the Cougars are being, well, there's a flag now. Is it the delay?
Well, I think that the Aggies probably wanted this to delay the game. Offense.
That gives him a little better chance to knock it down inside the 20, particularly since he's having to kick with the wind at his back, and that's going to be a little tough.
And they're quite figured that I particularly agree with this strategy. It also gives him, if he happens to shank one or make a bad punt, that moves the ball that further up the field for your opponents.
Well, that's true also, but see, that's thinking negatively, Ed. They're thinking positively.
Well, I don't know that that's so positive. You know, punter's supposed to be able to put the ball out inside the 20. What the heck difference does the angle make?
Well, here's the shank. Yeah, that's why Ed was a coach. They got to think negatively. We'll be right back with 3:29 to go in the first quarter. It's the Aggies 7, Houston nothing. With the Aggie offensive line and the Cougars' problems they've had defensively, but the only reason it really isn't tied is the fact that the Aggies' defense has been everything that it's been advertised to be. And Cougars are having trouble. There's John Jenkins trying to figure out ways to consistently move the ball against this A&M team.
They got to throw the ball quick. They got to hope that their little receivers can catch it and make someone miss a tackle and turn that 5, 6, 7, 8 yard pass into a long gainer. I don't think he's going to have much time to throw deep ones. He may throw one once in a while and get away with it, but the pressure of the blitzing linebackers and the defensive ends and nose guard, I think, will be difficult for him.
Well, there are 3 receivers on the left side, and Kevin Smith is saying, hey, we got a guy that's uncovered here. Let's see if the Cougars take advantage on first on the 30. Well, they had Grant waited long. Now there's a flag down, probably holding. The completed pass to Gilbert, it would be good for a first down, but let's look for a hold, huh, Ed?
Yeah, I would anticipate that's what it is. I'll tell you what the Aggies are doing, Greg. They're kind of trying to give David false reads. As you said, that time they gave us an uncovered lineman there. Uncovered receiver, and they're playing zone that particular case. Sometimes they're lining up in zone, and then after they feel David audibles to a zone pattern, they'll jump up there and play man for man, and vice versa.
Here's the call. Or it will be.
We hope.
Chop block, offense, 15-yard penalty, replay first down.
That was a big one. That's worse than a hold. We think it was Ostel Miles 34. Let's look at the replay.
They were called for this several times last week. Let's see if we can see it. There he is right there. Let's see if we come with it. Where we see the chop block. Oh, there's a chop block right there. I don't necessarily agree that that's a chop block because he wasn't set up. The chop block normally is if one player engages a defensive man, then the other guy comes in and gets him at the knees. He was coming off of a block, and that offensive lineman was reacting to pick up and give extra help. I'm not so sure that was a good call.
I'm not sure if either one of those were the ones either. I think Miles may have been involved off the screen. It is first down, and the ball is at the 14-yard line.
Now they're showing man-to-man.
It is first and 25. Here's the pressure on Klingler. He's going to lead foot his way out of bounds after a pickup of maybe 5. Otis Neely ran him out from Lamarck the junior, and it'll be 3rd and 20 or thereabouts.
Those Aggie linebackers are really aggressive and know what they're doing. The Aggies have had 26 sacks this year coming into this game, 16 of them by their linebackers, and of course we already know that Atkinson has gotten one so far today.
Klingler, of course, his sacks have outnumbered his positive rushes, so he's negative 28.
He won't be a first-round draft choice because he's going in as running back. So.
No, and they're not going to rate him for that or downgrade him either. 3rd down and 21. Ball at the 19.
They're showing man-to-man, and they're blitzing pretty good. Watch out for the backside.
Threw it behind Grant. If Grant that one could have been completed, they might have had a chance. Quarterback pressure by Buckley from the backside. But because he was coming, Klingler heard him stomping across the AstroTurf and threw it a little bit offline. It's 4th down.
Well, I also think David has shown a little bit of the effects of having missed a couple ball games, and the Aggies are giving him a lot of different looks. They're lining up in one coverage and showing him and playing something else, and real difficult. And again, when you know that the pressure that they're going to have.
I said 4th. It is actually 3rd down, but it's still long. 3rd and 21. Keep some blockers in. No flag.
Somebody ought to be open now.
And he throws it intercepted at the 41-yard line by Patrick Bates. Bates, the sophomore from Galveston Ball High School, was there when Klingler tried to thread the needle on 3rd and long, and the Aggies have great field position.
Well, he did a great job of buying himself extra time to get folks open. Watch, this is all by David now. You can see him moving around, trying to get himself open, Finally now he tries to throw back across the body, and let me tell you, that's a difficult pass to throw. One of the things when you're getting pressured an awful lot, as David has been in this early part of the season, is you're trying to force things. He's trying to make things happen, and he's developing into some habits that people are going to try to talk to him a little bit about. Hey, get yourself set a little bit more when you're trying to throw that type of pass.
That was the 4th interception by Bates. He leads the Ags. And Richardson completes it for a first down at the 25-yard line. John Brown running the Tony Harrison out of bounds after he made the catch. Harrison's from Houston Forest Brook.
Well, Harrison just lined up the outside. He went down the field and just did an out pattern, drove the defensive back off. You can see the defensive back playing inside and some man-to-man coverage, and Harrison broke to the outside. Good pass, good catch, first down for the Aggies.
McAfee, number 5, is in the backfield now as a running back to take a look at Harrison as he comes out wide to the left. First down, the ball on the 26. There's McAfee looking for a hole, not finding a very big one, and he's stacked up. Ventress is in there. Number 8, Glenn Cadres down there near the bottom. McAfee, the senior from Sugarland Willow Ridge, played actually more in 89 than he did last year. Of course, he played so much in 89 because Darren Lewis was hurt. Last year, Lewis was healthy. In fact, Lewis may draw a start, we understand, for the Chicago Bears this week because of some injuries. Greg Hill is now back in at the running back spot.
And they're going to alternate players at every position and keep fresh troops in there.
Less than 2 minutes to go. The Aggies with a heavy yardage advantage and a scoreboard advantage of 7-0. Hill, big hole! Touchdown, Texas A&M! Initial hole for Hill, and then after that he just used his speed.
Well, he does a good job of cutting this back. Houston actually over pursues. Play is designed to go to the right. Watch him cut back way here to the left. You see the Aggie offensive line kind of drive the Cougars beyond the play where it was originally designed.
And the kick is good by Venetoulis. It is with 1:42 to go in the first quarter. A 14-0 Texas A&M lead.
And that moves Greg Hill above Darren Lewis in the freshman race. He has 48 yards. He only needed 37 to go ahead of Darren Lewis. Moves him up into second place. And at this rate, he may go ahead of Curtis Dickey before this day is over.
Curtis Dickey's number 1 for the Aggies.
Take a look at that. Watch him cut this back to the right of the screen. See the block and plays designed to go to the left. He cuts back. The defensive lineman for Houston went upfield. The defensive end went straight upfield. He cut back underneath that play and took it to the end zone. Actually, there was a situation where the Cougars linebackers and defensive linemen kind of over hustled. Watch the cutback. You see the play. You see the defensive lineman going upfield. Number 46, Tracy Gentry, going way upfield. He comes back underneath him. The linebackers had moved over to protect the left side. And that's great vision. That's the thing that I believe this young back, he's got great vision, but he's also got that ability to quick and cut and move it back to different, either inside or outside. He's a great running back.
This kick again should not be returned and won't be. Using the wind to full advantage, the Aggies, of course, elected to hold their reception as far as the reception of the kickoff in the second half. They used the wind, and the wind has been a strong advantage on the kickoffs. Houston has had to start all of them on the 20. The home of the 12th man. This is Kyle Field at Texas A&M.
Well, that strategy is great. If that first series your defense holds that team that you're kicking to. You're giving them the opportunity to get the ball, and they had tremendous confidence in this defense, and rightfully so. They certainly haven't given up much.
The drive only took 3 plays and 54 seconds. Hill's 24-yard touchdown run put the points on the board. That was Hill's 7th touchdown running, and it's first down. Klingler throws it behind Grant. Now he's just off target because he had his man, and that's not David Klingler. Solari came around from behind to try to put some pressure on. But again, David might have heard some footsteps because that one could have been completed.
Yeah, it really could look like that was a completed pass. But again, I think you're feeling the pressure, and you're feeling people coming in there, and a little bit of rustiness in David right now.
Second down. He's only practiced about 3 days in the last 2 weeks, maybe 2 days, I guess.
Actually, there's 5 completions, but he's missed on his last 4 passes.
He had one drive that was effective, but it was spoiled by a fumble by Ostel Miles. The Cougars looked like they were going down to score, but since then, nothing. Pass out in the flat is completed to John Brown 3, and that's the first down as he gets across the 30. Jason Atkinson, the interior linebacker from Houston Westfield, making the stop. John Brown 3 is a senior from Dodge City, Kansas.
And that's that out screen to the outside receiver that they try to come back and pick up the offensive lineman coming out. So those are quick passes. That's the type that I believe they have to concentrate on to move the ball down the field. Coach Jenkins needs to concentrate on getting first downs. Eventually the touchdown will take care of itself.
Defensive alignment for the Aggies. They have more people up front now. And now Klingler again changing the play at the line. It'll be first down. They play blitz, come late on delay. The pass is incomplete. It was thrown at the feet of Tiandra Sanders. Quentin Coriat again was coming through. They are trying to time their blitz well, and even when they don't get to Klingler, they give him pressure very quickly.
Well, the thing that David needs to do right now is vary that cadence. Go on some long counts, because the Aggies, again, trying to time that blitz, or trying to assume that he's going to go on that second count a lot of times. If he goes on a long count, he'll make them show things and should be able to help the receivers and himself get a read of what the defense is really playing.
2nd and 10, the ball at the 32 still in Aggie territory. Aggies lead 14-0. We're in the first quarter with 1:09 to play. Little inside shovel pass and a loss to Tracy Good. Jason Atkinson on the stop, and that's a loss of about 4.
Well, that's a completed forward pass, Greg, but it's a loss of 4 yards on the play. This goes down as a pass. A little quick development on it. You see it right there. You can see the forward pass, so to speak, underhand, sidearm, whatever way you want to call it. It goes as a pass attempt and a pass completion.
Well, there's a timeout called by the Ags as they lead it 14-0 with 48 seconds to go in the period. Again, we've talked about this before, Ed, on those kind of plays. There is a safety factor in that, because as opposed to turning around and pitching it behind you, where it's a wild, loose ball if dropped, that's just an incompleted pass if it is dropped.
Yeah, my guess this timeout, Greg, is they're trying to milk the clock a little bit. The clock would have continued to run after that play if they can force the Cougars either run the ball or throw an incomplete pass. And then the Cougars now will have to pump the ball against the wind. There's 48 seconds left in this first quarter. I think Coach R.C. Slocum was really on the ball in his clock management in this particular situation. Now, that's predicated on the fact that his defense stops Houston on this next play.
That's a good point, because you're right. He wants to use that wind as many times as he can to his advantage, and he didn't want to have it time out so that if Houston does have to punt, they're going the other way and they get the advantage of the long punt.
Well, if Houston throws an incomplete pass here, of course the clock will stop. But if they run the ball, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see the Aggies use another timeout. Realizing that timeout can give you a difference in 20 or 30 yards in field position.
It'll be 3rd down, 11. They are 0 for 3 in 3rd down conversions, the Cougars are. The one drive they had, they didn't have to get that far. They're getting the first downs quicker.
Well, they're giving them a zone look right now.
Another misfire, and again an open receiver. Verlon Brown was there, and Klingler has missed a couple that he hadn't been missing up to.
Well, take a look at David now as he goes back in the pocket. Now watch his footwork. That throws off that front foot, and the ball sailed on him a little bit. He's not quite making himself tall in the saddle, so to speak, as he usually did before he had some of this setback and resting. I just don't think he's really completely 100%. I've watched him too many times, and I think he's just trying to be a team player and trying to help his team. And I don't know that he's ready to help him right now.
Langston had one good punt into the wind.
And the strategy worked, Greg, as far as his punting situation.
He needs a second good punt into the wind. Line of scrimmage to 30. And he doesn't get a good one into the wind. He gets that one sagging and floating and out of bounds. Won't be great field position for Texas A&M, but won't be bad, as they'll get it right around the 35. Well, they're still marking it back with the geometry that the officials use. He's still walking. They're going to call it the 40, and that's where Texas A&M will have it.
Well, that turned out to be good strategy, because the 40 is great field position to take the football over.
It's only a 30-yard punt from the line of scrimmage. Greg Hill back in at the running back spot with 36 seconds.
Now, if his thinking goes hand in hand right now with 36 seconds, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see him throw a passer on first down to take the last advantage of the win.
Well, he's done very well with play action. Tony Harrison, Brian Mitchell are wide. The I formation behind Bucky Richardson. Instead, it's a pitch. Hill finds an opening and is banged down just across the 50. A good block by Doug Carter to help spring him. Looked like Perry might have knocked him off his pins originally, and then he was finally, maybe it was Batiste, 38. Let's take a look.
Take a look at the fullback coming out there, number 32. That's the man right there. Look at that block he puts on the outside, which allows Hill to cut back to the inside. Then he's got that great speed and great ability to bring it back to the outside and make the play. Here's the lead block right there. Carter, 210-pound fullback. He goes underneath that block. Now he's going to attempt to get back to the outside.
Live action, no gain to speak of for Hill. Tyrone Davis with the tackle, and that'll be the last play of the quarter as the clock is ticking down, 5 seconds. Tyrone Davis is a Houston junior, 6'1", 210 pounds. We'll talk about him and the Aggies and the Cougars a little bit more. We've reached the end of quarter number 1 at Kyle Field, and the score, the Aggies of Texas A&M 14, the Cougars of Houston nothing. You're watching the action right here. That I see.
Well, it looks like there might be clouding up a little bit out that way, but it's not going to be here, Greg, for about another 20 minutes, a half hour. I can just kind of smell it in the air.
Hope all the television stations around the viewing audience are watching this, because Ed could use a part-time job during the summer.
Well, they pay those guys just a lot of money. You could just use a little common sense and look at the clouds and understand what type of clouds there are.
Bucky Richardson, the last 3 games, been able to do it all. There's a guy that's done it all. Hill brought down after about a yard gain. The thing about Hill is he's one of these guys you keep giving the ball to, and you know something about guys like that, like Mr. Campbell, that they break a few. They'll have a few like that where they only gain a yard or 2, but then they break one for 25 or 30. Faido and Blunt make an attack.
The difference, as far as I'm concerned, between he and Darren Lewis from last year is that Darren Lewis didn't have that ability to make that quick break and change direction. Hill has the ability to straightaway speed, but he also has that change of direction move that really can make tacklers miss.
All right. Carter is going to be the blocker on the roulette. Richardson in trouble. He's sacked back at the 45. James Bevel, the first of several Cougars to get to him. Bevel out of Jasper, Texas, and Faida out of Pacifica, California. Alan Aldridge, Glenn Cadrez.
That's kind of a surprising pattern. It looked like they only had 2 receivers downfield, and with those 2 receivers covered, there was no place for Bucky to go.
Kind of an interesting, too. They had 1 running back and only 2 people downfield. What was everybody else doing?
Evidently, they were blocking. You see them all around back, all the maroon jerseys back here with the ball. I'm just not quite sure that was, or someone may have missed a play calling.
Stephen Harris is back. He's getting the nod as the punt returner in this game. And will he get the nod some more? Well, that wasn't bad. He got it up to the 20-yard line, held on to the ball anyway. Chris Frooms ran him out of bounds. Houston again will start from their own 20, this time with the win. Let's see if that makes a difference. 42-yarder. 13 minutes and 37 seconds to go.
Well, I tell you, they've had a bunch of good, strong safeties. If take a look at the, I guess we're going to have maybe this A&M's remaining schedule.
Yeah, that's what they've got left. Couple of road games. Of course, Rice has been tougher this year at TCU. That could be an interesting game. And then 3 at home to close out the season. Of course, the big one against Texas.
I was going to comment about Chris Grooms, who's a tremendous senior from Baytown Leeds, 6'3", 184 safety, and lines of some of the Aggie safeties going on to play pro football.
A lot of time now on the play fake by Klingler, and incomplete. Not held on. Boy, he had a lot of room on the roll left side.
Well, he did a good job of faking the counter play going to the right, and that's good ball handling by David Klingler. But again, he doesn't get himself in position to deliver the ball. Watch him fake the counter going that way. See him fake the counter, puts it on his hip, rolls out. Now watch the position he delivers the ball in. See, he's completely off balance instead of getting himself set to deliver that ball out there.
Although, in his defense, that one was perhaps catchable. Ron Peters couldn't hold on to it. It'll be a second down at 10. Klingler 7 for 15. The interception has not been a contributing factor, although the Cougars have also fumbled. Aggies have not turned it over. Aggies lead at 14-0. There'll be flags here. That play won't even happen. Sam Adams may have.
Well, I think that's Douglas. That was going to be a pass, and what a tough situation for the Cougars. They had Douglas in motion coming back, and I'm sure that was going to be a pass coming out here to the right.
Yeah, Douglas showed last week that he could pass as well as run, as he was the first quarterback in the Southwest Conference.
There was no play, dead ball, delay of the game.
That's the second delay of the game for Houston.
Well, and that kind of took that play right out of the playbook that they wanted to get. Now Douglas is back over on the side, and the Aggie coaches up here in the press box, I am sure, were able to pick the fact up that Douglas was in at that position, so I don't think that play will work today.
Second down, 15. On the 15. And that was low in the ground, incomplete. Grant was the intended receiver, but the pass was at his feet, and he couldn't hold on. And it'll be 3rd and 15.
Well, he's going to have to have patience and stay with David, because right now his timing is off a little bit on some of these patterns that normally he would be completing.
0 for 4 on thirds. Now Houston is going to call timeout. And we'll take a timeout as well. 13 minutes and 26 seconds to go in the first half. It's Texas A&M 14, Houston nothing. 13:26 to go in the first half.
Well, David Klingler in his last 9 passes, Greg, he's 2 for 9 for 11 yards and 1 interception.
And I can think of 3 of them that were there to be completed. As you see the weather again, maybe coming in from the north and the west.
Well, the one thing that the Cougars don't need right now is weather to close in on them with their passing attack.
Nice crowd at Kyle Field. There are some seats available, but not a whole lot on this 80-some degree afternoon. Third down and 15 for Houston on the Houston 15. Klingler fakes twice. Goes upstairs. Way off the mark. Incomplete, 4th down. That was intended for Gilbert. It was one of those run-under-its, and he couldn't get to that one. It was a little too strong with the wind behind it. And the Aggie defenders come out, and the special teams come in, and the crowd waves the 12th men towels.
Well, he's trying to pick on Kevin Smith over on that side, and Kevin Smith is just running stride for stride with the receiver. Kevin out of West Orange, Stark over there, and
well, he's you don't pick on him much. He has 19 interceptions. That's the top all-time in the Southwest Conference, and now he's going to go back and try to return a punt. And the wind is with Langston. He had 151 yards in the first quarter without the wind in his face. This one he drives a little bit. Smith will get it at the 32. Flag. And he's up to about the 47-yard line, but a flag was tossed. Carlos Leon making the stop. 52-yard kick, but the Cougars may get more yards than that when you factor in a penalty, which should be against A&M.
Probably would wind up being about a 60-yard punt when you put that penalty in there.
That is the call. Bud Alexander, the referee, with the crew of George Coleman, Don Brown, Warren Pfeiffer, Richard Wittenberg, Mike Wetzel, and Larry Gerard.
Langston coming into this ball game was one of the leading punters, he was 5th leading punter last week. He was averaging 44.4, and he certainly has done all of that so far today with that big punt.
Be sure with us to stay with us at halftime, because we'll take a look at this band. And if you're watching from somewhere outside the normal Texas A&M viewing area, you want to see the Aggie band because they're different. They are precise. And a give on the first play, and never say die attitude for Carter. Gets a couple of yards. And he's stacked up there after that short gain. Al Aldridge in on that play. In the first quarter, Houston passed for 54 yards and the Aggies 65, but the rushing yardage, 68 yards for the Aggies, -4 for Houston. Tracy Gentry is in now along with Sam Fajita. Gentry had a big game against SMU, the former Marine. Had a number of quarterback hurries and sacks. Second down. Richardson sees a hole. First down across the 35-yard line. Bucky Richardson. Jason Matthews with a good blocks. Kevin Batiste finally diving on top of him to help close off the play after Alan Aldridge made first contact.
Richardson comes down the line on an option play. Fakes the fullback. Now they're going to play Hill. He cuts it up inside and picks up the first down. I think Bucky Richardson may be one of the most underestimated quarterbacks in the country. The most valuable player in the 87 Cotton Bowl, the most valuable player in the 90 Holiday Bowl. He's done a great job for the Aggies.
Play action fake. The throw is in the air. The completion to the 49-yard line. First down A&M. That's completed number 81, Ryan Matthews, the freshman from Houston Lamar.
Well, the thing that he did with that, Greg, he's delivering the ball just as the freshman Matthews, the redshirted freshman Matthews, comes out of his break. Watch him deliver the ball, and Matthews will be just coming out of his break. So when he turns downfield, he was just coming out of this outstanding high school player in Houston Lamar. They redshirted him last year. He's, again, going to be another great Aggie.
On the 49, Aggie land territory. It's first down. Sharp in motion. The swing pitch goes to Hill. He dumped at about the 48-yard line. A pickup of maybe 4. Hill in the first quarter rushed for 60 yards on 8 attempts. Tyrone Davis was the man credited with the tackle there. The Houston side, Miles had 3 attempts for 7 yards. Klingler lost 11. Those are some of the individual statistics out of that first quarter. Actually, the time of possession was very close. 7 minutes and 38 seconds for A&M, 7:22 for Houston, but A&M with 14 points to Houston's none. Second down, 6. Ball at the Houston 47. Richardson on the pitchback. Again, Hill, he struggles forward. He's short of the first down. He's about the 42. Needed the 41. Batiste and Tyrone Davis teaming up on the tackle. Will be third and about a yard.
Again, this is simply the option play where Richardson is going to come down the line of scrimmage, decides to pitch the ball, and watch Hill cut back inside and lower himself. One thing that he does also, he doesn't give much of his body that he gets hit very hard. When he gets in trouble, he'll lower that shoulder, go low, and pick up an extra 2 or 3 yards, and doesn't take a big hit from the defensive backers or secondary.
Closer to 2 needed here on third down. 1 out of 4 on third down attempts. Hill behind some blocks. First down, a little more up to the 35-yard line. Greg Hill with a first down.
Well, Greg, the other thing that he does in this play, you just see little things every time he carries the football. Watch his acceleration at the hole. He knows he needs a couple yards for first down, but watch the acceleration when he gets into trouble. Early, he's kind of running under control. They're going to give him the ball here. He's under control. Now watch him see daylight and accelerate right there. That little step up and move. He knew he had the first down. He knew what he had to make to get it.
It'll be a first down. The ball at the Houston 35. Fullback carry this time. Doug Carter as he struggles on the angle right side for 5. Sam Fajita making the first contact and the tackle. Glenn Cadres pinching in. It'll be second down.
And sometimes you think, why is he giving the ball to fullback when Hill's making that kind of yardage? That fullback just makes those 2 defensive tackles and the inside linebacker play honest. They have to respect that a little bit. They can't completely ignore Carter or Simmons, whoever they have in there at the fullback position. And that's just to say, hey, you're going to have to stay honest. We can give the ball to the fullback.
Well, you don't sneeze at about 5 yards, and that's what he got. Now with the split back formation, in motion is Mitchell.
Normally a passing formation.
Instead, it goes to Hill. He slanks off left side, short of the first down, picking up 3. Alan Aldridge with the tackle. And Linton Weatherspoon put some pressure on to make sure the pitch took place when it did.
The thing they're doing right now, though, Greg, is they're eating up some time off that clock. They're controlling the football. And from the Cougar standpoint, number 7 can't put some points on the board if he's sitting over on that sideline.
It'll be 3rd and 3 with 9:08 to go in the first half. Houston and Texas A&M, the Aggies 14-0. And the Aggies inside Houston territory at the 28. Quarterback Keith Richardson cuts back. He stops short. Only a yard gain. It'll be 4th down. Cadra is making a stop. It's 4th down, but with the wind in the kicker's face and being 4th and short, you got to almost figure they're going to go for it here.
Ventulis' longest kick of his career is 44 yards. And that would be bordering right about on what the distance this would be. And as you said, he's going against the wind. So timeout for the Aggies to talk it over.
Decide which play to use, and while they decide, we'll take a break. Stay with us. 14-0. It is Aggie Land happy time right now with 8 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the first half. 8 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the first half. Texas A&M calling a timeout on 4th and about 1 inside Houston territory, but the line of scrimmage is the 26-yard line, so that's 36 plus 7. That's about a 43, 44-yard field goal into the wind. That, as Ed pointed out, that's as far as Ventulis has kicked one this year. And with it being 4th and short, if it were 4th and long, you might go for it, but 4th and short, I've got to think they're going to run for it here.
Time of possession has kind of changed a little bit in the second quarter, Greg.
Houston, what's that add up to? Houston has had it for 30 seconds in the second quarter. 30 seconds in the second quarter. Is that short or what?
It's not very long. Of course, when you're in for 3 and out, and a couple of them pass plays, doesn't take much time off the clock.
All right, Doug Carter and Greg Hill, the running backs, in the eye behind Bucky Richardson. They need to get to the 25-yard line. The 4th down play is coming. Short is in motion. Richardson pitch back. Hill nowhere to go. Fumble, and the ball is going to be recovered by Houston, but they actually lose yardage because they would have had it about 4 yards back upfield if they just stopped it without the fumble. Linton Weatherspoon recovering the fumble, and Houston will get the football. That's one of those fumbles that doesn't really matter much because he's going to be brought down for a loss anyway.
Well, again, the Cougar defensive lineman, good penetration on the 4th down play, playing across the opponent's line, and as you said, the Witherspoon gets the fumble, but it cost the Cougars a few yards on the play, but they're happy about the play there.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, the Cougar defense has not played that bad today.
No, the defense has really been much better than I think a lot of people might have expected. It has been the offense that has not been able to get going at all against this Aggie defense. Guy is in at running back on 1st down. Ball at the 23-yard line. Moving in a little closer on the outside is John Brown 3. Klingler flips the ball to the inside receiver, but maybe a 2-yard gain. That's about it for Fred Gilbert. Kevin Smith is right there waiting for him.
Man-to-man situation, and try to run the out route, figuring that the defensive back has to play from the inside. Good completion, but for only about a 3-yard gain.
Eric England is in the lineup at one of the defensive ends. The Aggies alternate their defensive ends a lot. They go deep. You may be a starter, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're any more of a regular than the second string guy. There's a give and nowhere to go whatsoever. A loss on the play to Tommy Guy as he just runs into a whole bunch of them.
Well, there's a perfect execution of a blitz and how you can utilize a blitz against the running game if everyone controls their gaps. Watch Bates coming in. Now watch the blitz. Everybody's going into a gap. Looks like sometimes you can break that, but look at Bates. Look at all the people. Each one stayed at home, took care of their gap. Great effort by Tommy Guy, but there was no place for him to go.
3rd and 9. Jason Atkinson also crushed through. There's Tommy Guy for the year. But he has not been so successful in his couple of carries in this game. 3rd and 9. Klingler has time. Now he's got running room. He has the 1st down and gets out of bounds at the 36-yard line. He had to go to the 33. Chris Crooms pushed him out, but that's one thing Klingler doesn't do much, and that's scramble. And, of course, part of that's because he's not one of the quicker runners in the world.
He's coming out to the right, and, of course, there's no place for him to go. Good coverage downfield. Backside contained man lost his containment, and Klingler now is showing he has enough athletic ability to pick up that first down. First down that the Cougar defense needed as much as anybody. Give them a chance to get a little rest over on that sideline.
14-0, Texas A&M with 7:04 to go in the first half.
And even though it's been all Aggie so far, Greg, if Houston puts one on the board, they're right back in this football game.
They had one chance earlier, but fumbled in Aggie territory. And that's really the only threat. Now David Klingler has to have a timeout.
Yeah, he's going to use. Had used up to 25 seconds, and there's only 2 seconds. Would have been a delay of the game penalty.
Well, Douglas was also in the backfield again.
Well,
that's twice they've had a problem with that. We're going to take a timeout, and when we return, the score will still be the same. The Aggies 14, Houston nothing. We'll be right back. To see when they come back out on the field, Ed, whether or not Houston comes back out. Well, they don't. They had Douglas in the lineup. And you would have to think that that's a trick play. The question is, you don't figure the Aggie defensive coaches are so stupid they aren't going to recognize that something is strange with a second quarterback in. So then the next point is, do you have any other plays that you can use with him at least in the game so that that is not automatically what you're going to do?
Basically, you got most of your plays because he's lining up as a inside receiver, so they certainly can throw most of their passing attack, even if he doesn't run the right route. But you're going to use a trick play, get it in there, get it called, get up the line of scrimmage, and run with it with the play.
Well, twice Houston's had trouble. One delay a game, and this time having to call a timeout. Klingler bootlegs right. He's going to air it out. John Brown 3. It is incomplete. Double coverage. The ball was a little behind him. That was a long pass, but it was also well defended by Kerry Vincent, who was, and Bates. They were both back. Bates, the free safety, played center field quite well.
Well, if you have any question about his arm, he throws this one 60 yards in the air. Take a look at it with pretty good spiral still coming down there. Now, if the receiver had just stopped right then, he could have drawn a pass interference call, but he tried to make a play on the ball. He had the defensive back running with his back to the football. All he had to do was stop, and he could have gotten an interference penalty call.
Second down and 10, the ball at the 26. One offset running back. And Klingler is sacked. Boom comes Mark Wheeler. Nobody touched him. Sam Adams put some pressure, but Wheeler, the senior from Navarro Junior College in San Marcos, gets through.
No way. Joe Montana can't even pass under these conditions. Take a look. He just splits the double team block. Splits the block between two blockers and just puts the pressure on him.
That was an impressive play. He did have a double team block, and he went right between them, and it was like nobody was there to stop him at all.
He says, hey, I'm a senior. I want that starting position back from Pat Henry.
3rd and 19. DeAndre Sanders is now in at the offset running back. They got the same formation they had last play.
On a screen with Sanders a lot of time.
This time they knock him down. The fans thought there was some holding, but the pass is incomplete. Klingler hit late, but it didn't matter. As Sam Adams got to him, it'll be 4th down. Quarterback pressure more than just that.
Well, again, it's hard to throw the football when you're getting that kind of pressure. And, of course, that wakes up the Aggie fans. They're proud of their defense.
Well, it is totally taken the Houston offense out of the game. Kevin Smith will drop back to return the punt. There's more conferences on the Houston offensive side. Well, they got everybody up but one. Could they be going for the block here?
Well, I think they're going to put pressure on him. I think they wanted to punt it, but I think they just want the football. I don't think.
Yeah, they drop back. He gets it away. Incidental contact, no flag. The ball is a little short. Chris Prooms got through, but they're going to let it go and kill it. Well, when are they going to blow the whistle? How did they do that? They didn't touch it up at the 30? Holy mackerel. I don't know how the
officials. Well, Langston.
The other official.
The other official got the spot.
Okay, the other official saw it, and the crowd says, "Thank you, sir." It'll be up at about the 33-yard line where Texas A&M will have it.
Well, Langston bought himself a penalty last week. He almost tried to get another one this week with the Academy Award after he punted the football, but Mr. Bud Alexander, the referee, said, no, you didn't get any contact.
McAfee and Randy Simmons, the veteran running backs, the seniors, are in it behind another senior, fifth-year senior, Bucky Richardson. That's McAfee, and McAfee gets across the 40, pickup of 8. Eric Blunt with a tackle. This game summary being brought to you by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 20 years of loving you. The Aggies have started at their own 21 average, not much yardage. The Cougars, I should say. The Aggies have started at their own 44. Big difference there. And the defense, the 3 sacks, also important in this 14-0 lead.
And how many hurries along with those sacks?
Hurries. Richardson gives to the first man. That's no yardage to speak of. Randy Simmons, Linton Weatherspoon, and Jim Cadres coming through for the tackle.
Depends on the spot of the ball here. The one official on the side over there looks like he's got a pretty favorable spot. He keeps coming up. Well, no, he finally put it down behind that first down. Pretty close, Greg.
Yeah, 3rd and about a foot with 4:57 to go in the first half. You know, Bucky Richardson takes issue to those people that keep saying this is a young Aggie team and they're building for the future. He says, wait a minute, timeout. I'm a 5th-year senior. This is my year. We got to do it now. Well, he's probably got
his help. I'm sure Keith Alex, the other offensive senior on the team, does the same thing.
And Richardson gets the first down on the keeper across the 45. Good blocking by Alex and Dawson and Elliser on the right side.
But other than those 2 seniors, the rest of them will return next year.
Yep, most of the starters. Now, we have seen McAfee and Simmons in the backfield in this series as McAfee just leaves. They are seniors, but the starters, you're right, only 2 of them. And even though he's a 5th-year senior, still has to check the play list.
Well, he's checking his list. It's like Santa Claus, checking his list and checking it twice.
It'll be a first down, a ball at the 46. Aggies lead at 14-0 in the first half. Richardson goes left. Wide open, first down across the 45. That's Brian Mitchell, the freshman redshirt from Dallas Carter. Tyrone Davis making the tackle after the first down, pickup of about 12.
Well, they got some good-looking young receivers. There's a snap, little play action fake, rolls out to his left. Now watch his getting feet in position. See, he gets his feet in great position to deliver that ball, so it has some zip on it. And Brian Mitchell, a freshman redshirt from Dallas Carter. Can you imagine he and Greg Hill on the same high school football team at the same time?
Mitchell did some quarterbacking when he was there. Now he's a receiver. McAfee, the fake, and Richardson loses yardage on it. McAfee carried it on well, but the Cougar defense that had penetrated past him wasn't fooled.
Well, they had 3 receivers downfield, and the Cougar defense, again, maybe anticipated a little bit. We're down underneath 4 minutes. This play action, and the secondary pretty much alert to that. They might try it right now. The fake wasn't quite that good. Didn't get the ball in there. And there's only 3 receivers downfield. They're well covered. No place for him to go with the football.
Cadres gets a tackle, but I think it looked like Richardson may have tripped himself.
Cadres gets
James Bevel, I guess.
Bevel?
Yeah, Bevel. One of the 2 senior starters on the defensive line for Houston. In motion is Mitchell. There must be something sticking up in the field here. That's a couple of guys that have gone down about the same place. Or maybe
maybe that helmet's elevated a little bit out to the middle of the field.
He might have tripped over his own quarterback. It's back right at midfield.
Let's take a look at the feet. See if Bucky's feet. As he comes out now, watch his feet right there.
When he lifts it up, he takes him down.
Yeah. That's called a clip, isn't it? Not allowed to use a leg whipping. Leg whipping, if you call it. The offensive linemen were doing that.
3rd and 17 with 2:53 to go in the half. He lofts it, and that could have been one of 2 things. John W. Brown knocked it down. Bucky got bumped by Bevel, and it's 4th down.
That pumped pretty good. I think the thing that happened, he got hit on his passing hand. He's holding that right hand a little bit. There he holds it as he comes off. A little numbness in those fingers right now.
Steve Harris will be back. Let's take a look at that last play first.
There he throws the ball right there.
And the old helmet down, maybe not.
Hit right at the end of the play. And punting situation.
Yeah, I think he hurt his passing hand or when he hit it into the helmet, and then, of course, he got hit pretty hard. Here's the punt. Nice one. This may be an Aggie football.
Well, there's all Aggie players down there and only one white jersey. If the white jersey comes out of there.
Reggie Graham, it is Texas A&M football.
Cougars are kind of arguing with the officials, but they're not going to change the decision. There he comes over. Just never got it into his hands, and now watch the maroon jerseys knock him away from the ball. And look at Graham go in there, knock him away and come out with the football. Tremendous play.
This is the first game that Stephen Harris has had an opportunity to return punts. Not one he's going to remember.
Nope.
Or want to remember.
The Aggies great field position now.
Third turnover for Houston, and this one is by far the worst. McAfee and Simmons, the running back. Flag down. The ball is in the end zone from McAfee, but the flag is down at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's going to be against the Aggies. It's going to be a hold.
Could have been one of several.
Yeah, let's see.
Maybe not. Touchdown. It is against Houston. Now let's see if we can find it.
Just a sweep, but all it is, Harrington Toss has the lead guard out in front of it with the fullback in front of the play. That the penalty was way back there. We're not going to see it on that. But he went in the end zone for a touchdown.
12 men on the field, I guess, was the penalty call. Oh, my.
We'll penalize 15 yards on the kickoff.
No, 15 yards. That wouldn't have been that penalty break.
No.
15 yards.
That's too much. Well, we are guessing. We'll have to check and see. But bottom line is the touchdown counts. McAfee, with 2:22 to go in the first half. The Aggies 1 point away from a 3-touchdown extra point lead. And they got it. Penalty will come on the kickoff. McAfee with the touchdown. And with 2:22 to go, it's in the first half. It is 21-0.
Yep. Two big turnovers will hurt the Cougars.
Out of League City, Clear Creek. Let's take a look at the scoring drive. It was not a very long one. McAfee had just 5 yards to go, and he did it on one play, 6 seconds. And the Aggies, with the extra point, lead it 21-0. One thing about this Texas A&M team, Ed, they're getting better every week. They are getting better faster than a lot of people thought.
And I think everybody underestimated how good some of these youngsters were on this football team.
Kenny Perry will be back at the 5-yard line to return the kickoff for the Cougars. Tulis will be kicking off. If you're wondering about the 12th man, the 12th man tradition exists, sort of. There is one player as a representative on the kickoff teams who is a member of the 9-player 12th man squad. They do not have the 12 players as they once did. They ran into some problems last year, some games in which they felt that they were hampered. Maybe it was a... Now the kickoff goes into the end zone. It'll be returned to the 20-yard line. Somebody said the signal they saw given was illegal participation.
Yes, sir.
Should mean extra people. Well, that must have been it. It comes out to the 20-yard line, where Houston loves the 20-yard line. They seem to be starting there all the time. Maybe they don't love it, but that's what they're familiar with.
You know, Greg, I thought A&M had the 12th man, not Houston.
Yeah. Yep. The Aggie band, they'll be coming out at halftime, and we'll get to take a look at them. Among other things, you stay with us. Grant, and that's a little short of the first down, I think, but it's very close. Marcus Grant, the Dallas junior, brought down by Derek Frazier after a gain of, well, looks like it's going to be a first down, right at 10 yards. So Marcus Grant.
And the clock man went asleep. But the clock is not moving and still isn't moving. He stopped it quickly. And see when they rewind it, where he gets it going. Took no time off the clock on that play.
A guy doesn't realize that when Houston is playing with all the passes they throw, you don't want to forget to start the clock. The game's going to be long enough as it is.
Blitz. Oh!
Klingler gets it away. He's got a man. Verlon Brown for a first down just at midfield, 49-yard line. Nice play, good timing. Quentin Coriat comes through. Quarterback pressure by Coriat. And Klingler says, I'm okay. I'm not busy.
Yeah, he just got knocked down again. This was not a sack, but take a look at the pounding he's got to take right here. As soon as he delivers the ball, boom, boom, down on top of it.
From the back, Coriat from the front. It's first down. And Verlon Brown with the reception.
Well, that's a great pass by Klingler to get that completion out of those conditions.
Pass goes another first down, and that's out of bounds to Marcus Grant.
And Klingler goes down again.
Derek Frazier, and Klingler is a little shaken up this time.
I'll tell you what, you talk about a tough guy and a tough football player. Watch it. You don't have to question his toughness. Boom, look at this. And again, down on top of him. About 500, maybe 50 pounds of bodies laying on top of him.
His own man, Darryl Clapp, weighs 305. And that was one of them.
He's got great work habit, good toughness, good awareness, strong arm. He really is.
Yeah, offside penalty declined against Texas A&M. They'll take the first down. Klingler chatting things over here at the 40-yard line. It's first down.
I think he's telling his offensive lineman, just give me a little protection, I can take you down the field.
All right, Donald Douglas is in the game now. Let's look for something. Number 12, he's in at a receiver position. Now he goes in motion. Fake to Douglas. Klingler's in trouble. Throws it incomplete. They will not call grounding. They will not call in the grass because there is no such rule. Bates, Crooms, and Coriat all around him, and Klingler's slow getting up again.
Well, they're going to, at some point in time with that, they're going to come out of that and throw the ball to Douglas out to the other side. He ran a pattern out here, and really nobody went and covered with him.
Well,
but again, take a look. This is 3 plays in a row. Take a look at the fake to Douglas. Douglas comes on outside. Now they come off the coverage and look at the pressure. Again, 3 plays in a row. He has taken a pounding. And if you think that's any fun.
Second down and 10. Keandre Sanders is in. Watch for the shovel pass. He's good at that, although they're not defensing it well for a shovel. Instead, it's a pitch. Sanders, 10 yards and out of bounds. And he's got another first down. Derek Frazier with the knockout. Frazier, the Sugarland Clements Jr.
Good play by Jason Youngblood. He made the block that got the linebacker Coriat out of the play. Down the line option. Watch Youngblood come out. Watch Coriat go down right there. Get back up and can't get there in time to make the play. Excellent job by Jason Youngblood to get the opening for the running play.
First down at the 29-yard line. A minute 44 to go in the first half. The second good Cougar drive of the whole first half. Nowhere to go as Klingler is sacked. He wanted to go to the right side. There was nothing but maroon shirts. Jason Atkinson, the first man to get to him. And now a timeout called by Houston.
So that's a safety blitz. Bates coming on a safety blitz. Here comes the blitzing, folks. Watch Bates come from the outside. Hands up right there. Atkinson in front of him. Got 2 of them on top of him.
Klingler didn't have to take much punishment.
4 plays in a row now, 4 pass plays that he's been knocked flat on his back.
I think if you're David Klingler, you just got to hope those guys get tired.
That's the 5th sack, but that, unfortunately, they're rotating defensive linemen in there. And when you're making sacks, when you get 5 sacks in one half, you don't get tired of the linebacker. That's the fun part of it.
Play, and it's the
unusual that you have Greg, that you have a sophomore linebacker. Looks like that. Well,
that's the Ed Biles weather front moving in. Second down. 17. He lofts it. He's got a man, Verlon Brown, and he overthrows. Incomplete.
But again, he is down. He's knocked down, and they're picking him back up again off the ground. Watch the pressure, and pressure makes it difficult to pick those receivers out. And at some particular point in time, as a quarterback, you have to realize you're going to get nailed. And look at that one, right into the rib cage.
An extra count on that, and he might have been accurate. Mark Wheeler is now in and giving him some rest, and there it is, an extra count, and that's a touchdown. But the Aggies don't give him an extra count. 3rd and 17. The Cougars here at least want to get close enough to kick a field goal, but if they do that, they'll have a first down. They need to get around the 20.
He's coming backside.
Same thing. It is incomplete. He just went down the middle. Either Gilbert or Grant, neither one could get to it. Takes care of that drive. it'll be 4th down and 17.
Every play, he's got to pick himself up off that AstroTurf, and believe me, there's not much give to that AstroTurf.
Buckley's been the man who you see number 9 coming at him from the backside constantly.
Well, and again, you know, and actually sometimes I think the Aggies are almost taking pity on him. They're not really lowering him. They're hitting him pretty good, but a lot of times they just give him a little nudge.
Oh, my goodness, this is going to be one heck of a kick. Now, with the wind,
53-yarder.
53-yarder by Roman Anderson. He can go this far, though he's not hit one this year. It's low. It is good. A 53-yard field goal by Roman Anderson. That, by the way, breaks the tie, the scoring tie. He is now the all-time NCAA scoring leader in his career. As he breaks the record, he was tied with former Indiana running back, and now he is number 1. And let's take a look at it. What a good one to do it on.
Yes, what a nice one. Look at the strong leg. Boom, gets it up, pretty good height, and the holder knew right away that he was going to make. He evidently knows that he's got strong enough. Anderson say he waited at least till it went through.
That makes it 21-3 with 1:20 to go.
Perry said, hey, I could tell by the way he hit it that it was going to go through there.
Now, there was the advantage of having the wind at his back, because he actually had a lot of extra room. He didn't kick it as high as you'll see him kick sometimes. But, you know, we've seen some replays of his kicks, Ed, and he kicks them right down the middle.
And I'll tell you one thing. That one looked like it could have been good from 60 yards. That cleared with plenty of room to spare.
Randy Simmons is back. Anderson will kick off. Anderson, of course, the son of the former passing star at Tulsa. Randy Simmons is back. Greg Hill is also up close at about 25-yard line, just in case they should try something a little onside with 1:20 to go.
They aren't anticipating an onside kick. They've got 9 people up here between the 45 and 45-yard line.
They're going deep. There will be no return on that one. And so the Aggies will get the ball on their own 20-yard line, 1st and 10. It was the longest field goal in Anderson's career. Of course, he's only 50-plus this year. His old record was 51.
He has all kind of records.
Yeah, there's a guy you're going to probably be hearing from for a few years, wearing an NFL uniform. He is so accurate. Narrow goalposts haven't hampered him at all. Distance doesn't hamper him. Taking the tee away a couple years ago didn't hamper him. Doug Carter and Greg Hill, the running backs. And it's, well, pretty good run by Carter as he gets almost all 10. Eric Blunt with the tackle. He just kept moving. Ventris in there, you see, and Faida, all of the defenders. Nigel Ventris is a Port Arthur.
Watch the offensive line. Watch the right side of the offensive line come out and get into the blocks and control the line of scrimmage. You can see he was 5 yards ahead before he ran into any white jerseys.
55 seconds to go. Carter, the junior running back. He's from Dallas Jefferson High School. Backed up Robert Wilson a year ago. The first down. Carter gets it across the 30 to about the 35-yard line, and 37 seconds, the clock ticking. Tyrone Davis with the tackle.
Well, I think they're just trying to run the clock out. They will have the ball to start the second half. Remember, they took their choice in the first half, so at this point they're very content to go with a 21-3 lead. They don't want to do anything to give Houston the opportunity to pick up a fumble or interception, and right now Bucky's just looking at the 25-second clock up there, keeping his team in the huddle. He gets up there, he won't call this play too soon. You see how he's kind of coming up slow.
One factor that you know that R.C. Slocum and his staff are going to be talking about at halftime is remember last year.
He's looking up there now down to 10 seconds on the clock. He's going to have to run one more play, but this will be the last play of the first half.
Last year, as Hill takes the carry across for about 3 yards, the Aggies led 24-7, but the Cougars came back to win the football game. So you know R.C. Slocum's going to be talking about that at halftime, because right now the Aggies go to the locker room with a nice 21-3 lead. The Aggies scoring 14 points in the first quarter. Then, thanks to a turnover, getting the ball on the the Houston 5-yard line, McAfee goes in for 5, and that extra touchdown was a big one because it is now an 18-point lead after the 53-yard field goal by Roman Anderson at the intermission. So Texas A&M 21-3 at the intermission here at halftime in College Station. We're at Kyle Field. Our halftime activities as the teams leave the field will be coming up. Again, a reminder, we'll be recapping this first half with Ed Biles. We'll be chatting briefly with the athletic director at Texas A&M, John David Crow. We'll catch some of that outstanding Texas A&M marching band, and if you have not had an opportunity to see the Aggie marching band around the country, be sure to stay with us because their precision is something to behold. It's all coming up at halftime. 21-3, the Aggies lead the Cougars, and we'll be right back. You see on here that's one-sided is obviously the rushing yardage, the total yardage, and the turnovers, Ed.
Well, I think the turnovers were a big factor. The punt led to definitely one touchdown. And we anticipated the Aggies rushing the ball. The total yardage is one side. I think it's about what we anticipated. The play of the Cougar offensive line just not good enough to handle the pressure. What doesn't show on there is the 5 sacks that the Aggies have made, and also the number of times, even though David Klinger got the ball away, the number of times he was hit and hurried and really put back on his back after he threw the football. So the pressure on David, I think, has really cut off the Cougar offense, which is exactly what happened in the Miami game, in the Illinois, and the Baylor game.
Boils down then, you get into perhaps player abilities as the kickoff is on the ground. And Simmons comes in short, and he's got it on the fly. He ducks his head, and if he could have snuck through it about the 30, he might have gone a little bit farther. But he is brought down at the 30-yard line by Willie Crawford. It'll be first down for Texas A&M. 4 sacks of Klingler in the first half, 11 for 26 passing. Meanwhile, Bucky Richardson, who will come out and run the Aggies, was 5 for 8, very productive, 89 yards, a touchdown. He was sacked a couple of times. He's got Greg Hill in the backfield with him. Number 27, he'll be the I-back, along with Doug Carter running at fullback, and Mitchell in motion. Hill off the left side is snacked down there by Ryan McCoy, the Beaumont, Texas sophomore. Greg Hill.
Well, basically the only suspense in the career A&M freshman record right now is how quickly will Greg Hill get it ahead. 717 prior to that, and the Curtis Dickey's was 726. So you can add about 3 right there. So he's on the verge of becoming the all-time leading rusher early in the season. He's got 5 more games to go.
As a freshman, this could be the carry. Well, maybe he needs one more. He gained about a yard, if that. It'll be third down. Alan Aldridge came around and made the stop.
Well, he needed 9, and it's not going to be 3rd and 1, so he has not made it yet.
No, he's got a few more. John Ellisor, right guard, down a little bit. Looks like he's, well, you're going to have to call an official's timeout. Ellisor, the junior from Kingwood. You know, we talked about that marching band. Kingwood High School has a marching band that is very similar in style to the Aggies. So John's seen that.
Well, they also have a nice golf course out there in Kingwood. I'm playing in the March of Dimes tournament out there Monday.
Little plug. It's third down, and there's a timeout while they attend to Ellisor, and we'll be right back. 21-3, the Aggies lead Houston with a 13:59 to go in quarter 3. And rolls. Floats it up, incomplete. Might have been deflected. It is a 4th down. Cougars defense, again, not bad. Ryan McCoy put some pressure on. But the Aggies defense has been unreal.
Late pressure comes in, and he feels it coming from the back, and of course he gets a little sandwich job in between there. The ball floated, and the Aggies right now are working against that wind, and I think that had a little effect on that pass.
Well, Harris is back. Last time he fumbled it, and it led directly to a Texas A&M touchdown. This time he's got a little more room to work with. He'll be taking the ball at approximately 30. And And that's about where it's going to be because the wind catches it. Fair catch. Whoa, he still didn't square himself up real well, but he caught it. And the Cougars will have the ball at their own 30-yard line. That's about the best field position they've had to start a drive the whole game.
Yeah, he's going to learn with a little more experience back there. As you said, he hasn't done it, very often on these punt returns. They use Jerry Parks. You got to look at the nose of the football. If the nose gets over, the ball will travel a lot farther. If the nose doesn't get over, it kind of floats back towards the punter, and you have to go make that type of adjustment as the punt return man back there.
This is one of the few places where when the defense comes on the field, the crowd comes to life. As well they should. The way the Aggie defense has done the job. Klingler floats it incomplete.
Well, and again, someone has wrapped their arms around him.
Marcus Grant was the intended receiver, but he threw it behind him.
Well, Henry's wrapped right in there, the sophomore now. The head Wheeler alternating.
He missed all of last year with a dislocated elbow.
Take a look at Henry in there. Watch him boom, put aside, and right away he wraps his arms around Klingler. And you not only know you're going to get hit, but you also got that body coming up in front of you. So if you're off target a little bit, it's understandable. Better tighten that face chin strap there, David, the way you're getting bounced around.
2nd and 10. Floats it deep. Burlon Brown can't handle it. It was a little bit away from him. Good coverage by Chris Crooms. And Klingler had time there. It's 3rd down and 10. Quarterback pressure a little bit by Buckley, but what else is due? There's Elliser. He's got his knee braces unstrapped, but he's walking around all right.
Well, I think they're going to take that knee brace off and probably do a little bit of a tape job and put that knee brace back on him. Looks like he's okay, though. In fact, I'm sure they're going to take him probably into the locker room and do that. And he may be back out if they need him to play later on in the game.
3rd and 10. The Aggies haven't been coming before. This is when they can certainly come on. 3rd and 10.
Oh, watch out for Marcus Buckley.
Well, every down. He's located out wide. He's lined up on the line of scrimmage. He's listed as a linebacker. This time he drops back. Pass is incomplete. 4th down. They get nothing on 4-3 plays. Tracy Good was the intended receiver, and the Cougars will have to punt. And this Aggie fandom loves their defense.
Oh, they love to wave those towels and swing around, and boy, that's great encouragement from the defensive player.
Kevin Smith will drop back. And he'll drop back a little further. As we forgot, the wind is going to be in the favor. Charlie Langston, 41.4 average, a little under his season average, but most of his punts have had to go into the wind. Smith at the 22. He's got room on the outside, and he's knocked off at the 40-yard line. Getting to him was Daniel Johnson.
And the reason they got that return, there was much hang time. It was the 3.4 hang time. That allows that punt return man to bring it back. I think there might be a flag down on the play.
There was a late flag thrown after the play was over, it appeared, right at the 40, however. Personal foul against the offensive team. That's the Aggies once they had the football. And it was after the play, so they'll push it back. Well, either after or during the play, but it will still be the Aggies' ball. Let's see whether it's totally after the play or if it was during the play, and it will make a difference on how much they have to go for the first down.
Good ball. Unsportsmanlike conduct. On the return team, 15-yard penalty, 1st and 25.
Yep, that answered the question. It was after the play, so it's 1st and 25. Greg Hill, Carter in the backfield for Bucky Richardson, the Baton Rouge Broadmoor senior. He's had injuries in games against LSU. Never got to play full-time in that game. Yes, Ed Viles. If David Klingler wasn't dizzy before, if he looks at the stands now, he's dizzy now. Richardson with a completion and across to the 36-yard line. Pickup of about half of the distance, maybe 8 yards of distance. Tony Harris, the receiver, and Steve Harris with the tackle.
Well, he's just hanging out on that sideline over there. I don't know. We got another injury on the field right now.
Injured on the play, number 23, Stephen Harris.
That's Stephen Harris. It's The Dallas junior college transfer is shaken up, and they'll help him off.
And they've had their fair share of injuries this year also, the Cougars, and that doesn't help you when you're really struggling the way they've been struggling.
Well, Houston's next game is against Texas. There you see Stephen from Dallas. That'll be at home in the Dome. Then they go to Rice, which is not exactly a long trip, at Texas Christian on the 23rd, and finish up at home against Texas Tech. John Brown will be in at that cornerback spot. They're both filling in for the injured Jerry Parks. Second down, 14. Play action. Nobody there.
Well, a little miscommunication between the receiver and Bucky. The receiver went to the inside. Bucky thought he was going to the outside.
Sam Faida was the man putting some pressure on. It'll be 3rd and 14. I don't think there's any question that while right now it appears the Aggies are in command of the football game, they have to not be happy with the way the offense has performed. They have not exactly run a lot of drives off, taken a lot of time off the clock.
They still had 218 yards at halftime, so that's kind of a tough deal.
Yeah. That one was incomplete. That was at the feet of Tony Harrison. And it will be 4th down, and the Houston Cougars are going to get the football back. This has to concern.
Those last 2 passes weren't too impressive, were they?
No, it looks like, there's a range factor with Bucky. He can go deep if it's one of those fly-type patterns, but those wide shots that are too deep, maybe it's a little tough there. That's a tough pass for anybody. Batiste and Harris are back.
He has a tendency sometimes to throw those off balance rather than getting his feet set and really delivering it.
Batiste has replaced Harris, I should say, and Batiste takes it to 15. Nobody but purple shirts, or maroon to be exact. They're at the 20-yard line. He says, "Where are my blockers?" Chris Crooms and Ramsey Bradbury were there instead.
Batiste, a freshman from Ball High School, said, "Hey, I'm by myself back here. Where are my friends?"
Let's take a look at the Cougar upcoming schedule. We alluded to some of these. November 9th, which will be their next outing, and it'll be Texas in the Astrodome. Then they go to Rice. That's been a real tough game for the Cougars the last couple of years. They've won them both, but it's been real tough. Then at TCU, that one has been a real show. And then Texas Tech closing up the season.
Well, TCU getting beat by Baylor today. Then helps the Aggies in their quest.
Good play fake, and Klingler's got a little bit of running room, and he runs out of bounds short of the first down. In fact, he tripped on the marker there. Quentin Coriat. That was a good fake because the Aggies did tackle everybody except Klingler. Quarterback pressure put on by Teichelman, but
yeah, that's that counter action, play action that they ran earlier in the ball game where he comes out to the left looking for somebody downfield. Good coverage by the Aggie secondary. Klingler down, so I've been hit enough. I'm going to run for my life and get out of bounds and pick up what I can pick up.
Well, he got about 8, 2nd down and 2.
But again, the Cougars have completely abandoned the running game. And when you don't have a running game, all the defensive folks say, "Let's go get the quarterback."
They tried the running game, and the flag is thrown, and that may be a face mask, is Ed Biles' prediction. He's got the first down if it's not a face mask on the offense. You think the defense grabbed in there, Ed?
I would think that'll be a defensive. The way that came in there and where the play was at, I would think that'd be a defensive face mask penalty.
Yeah, you think right. That'll be a first down. They got the first down on the ground anyway. They'll just get a few extra yards if they take the penalty. Either Buckley or Henry. One of them was in there trying to make the tackle.
I think they just have to run the ball a little bit, Greg, to make at least those defensive linemen think that they will run the ball. You just can't allow them to just say, "Hey, we don't have to think about the running game." Those defensive linemen just tee off, and it's tough enough pass blocking against good football players when you know that they don't have any threat of a run. Wow, what a long day that makes for those offensive linemen.
Penalties are pretty even. Scoreboard is Texas A&M's 21-3. We've got 11:55 to go in the 3rd quarter. First down for Houston. Well, where are his receivers? Klinger's got blocking this time. Finds one wide open for the first down across midfield. That's Grant. Marcus Grant, the junior from Dallas. Chris Crooms ran him out of bounds. A lot of time that time, and Grant, to his credit, came back and gave Klingler a target.
Well, Klingler does a great job of buying extra time, and there's great coverage right now by the Aggie secondary. Now he's going to be still looking, wants to deliver the ball. That's a great job by David of buying extra time, working around, and y'all give Grant a lot of credit. He continued to work to get open.
At the 44-yard line, 43-yard line, it's a first down. Marcus Grant has caught 4 in this game. Here comes the pressure. There goes Klingler, and again, Mark Wheeler and Buckley.
Well, they've continually had problems. Whenever they take those 2 defensive linemen and put them in the gap between the center and the guard, the Cougars are having problems. They're able to split. Every time they do that, they're able to split and come right up through there. And you see it right there, the inside. The pressure's going to come from inside. They've been alternating Wheeler and Henry in there, and every time they do that, the Cougars have not blocked that situation. The 2 guards in the center have just allowed them to get if the center goes one way, the other guy is getting the penetration. If he blocks the other way, the other side defensive tackle is getting penetration.
Here they come again. Quick pass is completed outside to Gilbert, and he's going to gain about 4. That's all. Kevin Smith ran him out of bounds. Inside 11 minutes in the third quarter, it's 21-3. And it will be a third down and right around 14, 15 yards to go. Gilbert has caught a couple. Gilbert now has 62 receptions this year. Grant with his 4 is up to 40 for the season. 3rd and 14. Here comes Buckley. Klingler throws it away. Flag is down, however.
Might be called for that's usually in the line where you might get a defensive holding call. That could be a big break for the Cougars, but again, Klingler just getting pounded.
Well, Buckley is coming.
I'll tell you what, I think at this point they ought to put the other quarterback in and see whether he can scramble around and run a little bit.
He may have to here the way he's pounded this time.
The way he's hurt now. I mean, that's just, he's tough. Boy, is he tough. I tell you, you're not going to see a guy with any more determination, any more one to help his team than this young man.
Douglas is taking snaps. It's going to be a hold, and it's going to be, as Ed guessed, on the offense, or defense, rather.
Here comes Buckley from the backside, and David feels that, and he still tries to hang in there. And, you're up in the air, and you get bodies coming down on top of you.
And Douglas is in the game. It is a first down for Houston, and there's Douglas. Klingler in also. Now, they haven't run that play yet.
What they looked like they were trying to set up off that was Douglas coming around, faking the ball to him, looking downfield, and then throwing the ball back to Douglas. Let's see whether they finally get that executed.
Well, they like to do it on first downs. If it doesn't work, they got another play. There's Douglas on the rollout.
But he can scramble.
And he's going to have to make some cuts. He doesn't have anywhere to go, and he throws it complete for the first down to Grant. And there are no flags visible on the field. Derek Frazier with the tackle. Boy, you talk about scrambling ability. Once again, Douglas, those of you who may have seen the highlights of last night's game, Mark Wheeler is down again. He had appeared to have some rib problems earlier. Here's the play, though.
Now, this was designed to be a pass all the way downfield. Now, he does a great job of scrambling and buying time and trying to get somebody open. He brings it down and now still gets it up in the air. And again, the one receiver who's done a good job for the Cougars in these scramble situation is Marcus Grant. He continues to work to get open. He's the one receiver that does that.
We'll take a break while Wheeler comes off the field. It is 21-3, 10:33 to go in period 3. As we have 10:21 to go in the third quarter, Houston moving. Donald Douglas is in along with Klingler again.
And the Aggie crowd comes to life now, though.
They're trying to make sure the Cougars can't hear their defensive signals.
A little difficulty in audible. Now, what's the official coming over here? Don't tell me he's going to tell the crowd to be quiet. Wait a minute.
That won't work.
That ain't going to work. Either that or got a problem with the clock, maybe.
That's Bud Alexander.
This ought to be interesting.
He's going to say something, I think. Let's see. He didn't want to do it over the PA system. Maybe clock. He's looking toward the clock. Clock reads 10 minutes and 13 seconds. With a 21-3 Aggie lead. We're in the third quarter.
Hello, Domino's. Send me a pizza over for the rest officials at the end of the game.
Yeah,
double cheese, pepperoni.
They don't need it in 30 minutes or less, though. I'll tell you, it'll be a while.
Well, upon further review, oh no, they don't have that.
No, don't have that. Well, I saw a debate at a high school game last night that went on forever, and I'm not sure what they were talking about. Both coaches, but no penalties called, no change of possession, but they had a long debate. We're never going to know. Well, maybe someday we'll know, but we don't know right now what the discussion was about.
Clock running.
Okay, Klingler and Douglas both in the game. It's first down and 10 on the 20-yard line. The give to Sanders, and he doesn't get anything. He is stacked up right there. Adams was one of those in on the tackle. Sam, of course, son of the great offensive lineman in pro football.
69 for the Cougars is Jerry Tate. Changed jerseys. Today's ball game, in case you wonder who 69 is.
Yeah, he changed numbers for this one. It is second down and 10. Here comes Buckley.
Oh, he's offside.
He jumped the gun.
He is offside this time. No way he's not offside. He beat everything.
But he put the punishment on Klingler at the expense of 5 yards. And he had to jump that time.
He's quick, but he isn't that quick. He was offside that play. I give him all the credit in the world, but he was offside. Believe me, he's offside.
You know, this used to be the weakness that the Cougars had back in the early days of the run and shoot, protecting the backside. And it still is a weakness. Certainly with the Aggies coming at you, they've had a number of linebackers that have really taken advantage of that backside. There's no one there to block. Running back, you saw number 31 in the front of the screen.
David said, you're getting there before I'm even getting sprinting out to the right.
It's second and 5 from the 15. Clock running, 9 minutes and 9 seconds. There's Buckley. Now the blocking back is on his side. Touchdown, John W. Brown, but a flag at the line of scrimmage. And a flag in the end zone, but that would be for celebration. That would be wiped off if it's against Houston.
That'll be holding against the Cougars. I guarantee it's a holding penalty against the Cougars. Celebration penalty will be wiped off.
Yeah, because it won't matter. There's nothing to celebrate. It never happened if the play doesn't happen, if they move it back.
Well, both penalties would be against the Cougars, but I'm sure they'll take the holding penalty.
It might have been center Brad Wiggum, but fact is, it takes the touchdown away from Houston.
Klingler said, see, if you hold them, I can complete passes for touchdowns. Give you protection one way or the other.
Just edit those highlight tapes without the flags in them, and no one will know the difference. Well, they're moving it back. Let's see if we can catch it. Look for number 68.
They're blitzing in there. They got so many folks going. It'll be difficult to probably leave.
Well, there it is. Yeah, that was it. 68, the center.
Well, they're going to put on another.
Oh, a celebration. Now, that's an interesting call. I didn't know that was legal, Ed. You can have a celebration penalty when it actually happened technically after the ball is dead because they've scored a touchdown.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree with that theory. It probably is legal.
It must be, or they wouldn't have done it. But it doesn't make much sense. I agree with you.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense, you know. Wow.
Well, it's second down and 32. 2.
That's a little tough.
And a sack. The ball is loose, but he was down.
I think he's going to call him down.
Klingler back to about the 46. Quentin Coriat, number 44, with the sack.
I'll tell you one thing. If he's a high first-round draft choice and he gets a couple $1 million contract, he's going to deserve it for the kind of beating he's been taking.
Yeah.
But they're just blitzing. Watch Coriat, number 44. See him on the blitz. See the nose guard going one way. The other linebacker coming inside. Opens up the gap, and Coriat just comes right up through there.
Well, Coriat's a name that you're going to be hearing after his college career as well. He's a highly regarded linebacker. Good size at 243. Could get even bigger. Born in the Virgin Islands, St. Croix, but went to high school at Baytown Lee in the Houston area.
Yeah, he's one of the highest rated quarterbacks around. Candidate for the Lombardi Award. He's also, they call him the Terminator. So let me tell you a few things about him. He runs a 40 in 4.6.
That's fast enough.
He can vertical jump 37. He can bench press 440 yards. He can squat 520 yards. And he holds the A&M record for power and cleaning at 363 yards.
Strong man.
Yes, and a good football player.
Well, to recap this for Cougar backers that are watching, the penalty appeared to be a legit penalty, at least on Wiggum. The one that they have to be most upset about was the other penalty that was called in the end zone that was tacked on. And again, I'm not going to question. I'm sure the rule is written as the officials interpreted it, but it seems to me it's one of those that perhaps needs to be considered since technically the touchdown never happened.
I think John Jenkins is really upset. I think he's trying to get the attention of the referee over there because he had one official and was jawing with him pretty good, and I think he's asking the other referee to come over here now, and the referee's on his way over there right now.
They called it unsportsmanlike in the end zone. So it was not necessarily after the touchdown. Could have been, well, it had to be, I guess it was in the end zone. That would have been the unsportsmanlike in the end zone. That's what we're talking about. It's basically your college version of celebration.
I think he's kind of arguing right now about maybe the clock. He may feel there's not enough time on the clock, but David Klingler says at this particular point, there's some confusion or disagreement about some ruling over there right now.
Now let's take a look at, there were 2 plays up to this point in the game. The touchdown the Cougars don't get there, and the touchdown they gave up as a result of the turnover in the first half, giving the ball to the Aggies on the 5-yard line. That's the difference in the ball game. Even though the Aggies have the statistical advantage and their defense has been dominant, that's 14 points.
They're having a clock problem. That's what all this has to be. The officials now over from the side talking about the clock and trying to figure out what's wrong with the scoreboard operator. Normally in these conditions, they'll just keep the time down. Nothing has changed. The clock hasn't changed. It's still at 8:25. Now you figure those 2 discussions, these long discussions that they had.
Now the Cougars want to hold on to the football and not kick or punt. They've got to go all the way down to the 10.
There's not many 3rd and 44 plays in the playbook. Again, he got hit.
Yeah, as he let go of the ball, and that was again Mark Wheeler. It'll be 4th down. The Cougars will have to punt.
Well, this is how much longer can you allow the kid to get hit and get back up? You got the rest of the season to go. This is a guy who's coming off having been sick. I think he's proven the type of courage that he has.
Let me ask you something, Ed, as we'll take a look at the replay. A coach's philosophy, because most coaches don't take players out. We're talking pros, we're talking college and everything. At quarterback, my question is there not a possibility that somewhere someone ought to consider the old change of pace, even if it's only maybe for a series, just to take the guy out for a series and see what the other guy can do, and if nothing else, your number 1 quarterback can see what they're doing for a while? No one ever does that.
Well, I think there comes a point in time that people do it occasionally, and I think this is one point in time. I mean, here's Klingler looks like he's over there trying to pick up his offensive lineman, trying to give them encouragement. He's the guy who's really getting, kind of beat up here.
Yeah, at least they don't have momentum when they hit the offensive lineman. They got a lot of it when they hit him. In fact, Kevin Smith will fair catch it at the 12, and that's where the Aggies will put the ball in play.
That wasn't even enough to pick up the first down.
Didn't even punt far enough to pick up the first down. And the Aggie fans wave the the 12th man towels as the defense, the star of the show for the Aggies, leaves the field, and the offense will see what it can do here in the third quarter. 21-3 with 8 minutes and 12 seconds to go. John Ellisor is back in, a right guard. So it's good to see John back in after he had to leave the field. Greg Hill and Doug Carter are the running backs. Uh-oh, broken play. Bucky is naked in the backfield, and he pays for it. He dropped back to the 8-yard line. That's got to be a terrible feeling. Ryan McCoy got him. Bucky says, uh-oh, where is everybody?
Well, someone went the wrong way. Obviously a running play. And let's take a look and see if we can figure it out after looking at it. Fullback or tailback? I got a feeling it was Greg Hill.
That's why he came out of the game, I think.
I think he went the wrong way on the play.
He's jaunted out for a moment.
Being a freshman red shirt, they probably number the defensive holes different than they did in high school.
They only got one running back in to block on a passing play. Almost a safety. That ball is incomplete. A lot of pressure by Glenn Cadrez on Bucky Richardson. Once again, the Houston fans have to be satisfied with the defensive play, although there's a Cougar down now.
Yeah, the defense has played well, considering the fact that their offense has not been able to move the football, and the offense in the first half only had 94 yards. The defense has been on the field a tremendous amount of time, and again here in the third quarter their offense hasn't been on the field very much, so the defense has really played well.
There's Ben Hurt, the man who's guiding the fortunes of that defense. He was an assistant coach here at Aggie Land during his career.
And Melvin Robertson, the man in the white shirt to his left, was also linebacker coach here at the Aggie Land for many years.
21-3. It's a third down, 14. Richardson, good initial block, now throws it in the air. He's got a wide receiver open. It is intercepted by Houston. That was Kevin Batiste, the free safety, and a flag thrown after the interception. These have to be from Ward.
That's going to be against this. I think this is going to be against the Cougars. I have a feeling that one of the...
It has to be words, too, because it wasn't anything that I saw a player do with a football.
Well, I got a feeling that Davis did something at the end of the play.
Okay, let's look.
The great play by Batiste. He's a free safety. He's come drifting across all the way, and he sees the out and up pattern that was run. He comes across, times it up, and gets the interception. Now when he gets up, he goes off the field, just spiked the ball. I don't think this was against Batiste.
No, that's why I'm thinking it was words. There wasn't any physical thing that I saw.
Well, I think after it happened, I saw number 30 kind of hit himself on the head. And let's see if we can see him come into the play here somewhere along the line after the play is over with. Everybody's happy there. Nothing there that was out of the ordinary.
Yeah. Spiking the ball maybe, but we're getting a little... both the colleges and the pros are getting a little out of hand with some of these.
Yeah, they're getting a bunch of penalties. Penalties are starting to add up now.
And of course it's after the play, so it's first down and 25. Almost intercepted. Jason Atkinson, the linebacker, raised up and almost had one.
Now that's that linebacker that's going on the side of the flow that they've used, mixing that in there. He just flows with it and tries to keep Klingler in his sights and the S-back in his sight. Take a look at Atkinson now. Lines up. He'll come. See him drifting across because Klingler's coming that way. Now he's going to go up to make something happen. Boom. Throws it. He's trying to hit him and hit him in a bad place. His hands.
Well, from point blank range, I'll give him a little benefit of the doubt.
That's tough to catch.
Deandre Sanders is the lone running back on 2nd and 25. Here they come. They intercepted on the option play.
Got something going here.
Has some running room. He'll have the first down. He's at the 30. He's cutting inside. Inside the 10. 5. Touchdown, Houston. Deandre Sanders.
Off of the running game.
On an option play, an excellent block by Verlon Brown, which helps spring him on the far side of the field.
64 yards, running play, option. Here we go. Let's take a look at it. David down the line of scrimmage. There's the option pitch. And now they got the Aggies in man-to-man coverage, so there's no one. Everyone's off covering the receivers. And Sanders right now from the 20-yard line does a great job. Look at this. I'm going to tell you,
dragging him.
Coming out of high school, Corpus Christi, he was a tremendous player. I thought he was going to be a great running back.
He dragged Kerry Vincent. The extra point is good, but there's a flag. And we'll wait and let's see. Well, that was the longest run of the year and forever for Tiandra Sanders in college.
No, he did not.
And let's see if it's going to be against, it looks like it's going to be against the Aggies, or
Should be.
put on the, maybe offside. Well, they'll decline it as far as on the extra point, maybe, unless they want to decide they're going to try go for 2, a little closer to the goal line.
This would make it 21-10.
Okay, so that penalty
I don't see it. Well, it's 3 field goals to tie it then, but that's...
Offside, defense, half the distance penalty. Will retake the try.
Yeah, looks like they may go for, well, obviously going for 2 now. They wouldn't bother retrying. Well, actually, this is one of those things, Ed, that you only find out later if it really mattered. Either way. Kind of hard to run against this Aggie defense. Shove inside, and I think they got it.
I think
Tiandra Sanders carried it in, and they haven't made a motion yet. Maybe they didn't. He may have crawled in. Let's see. He got it. 2-point conversion, Tiandra Sanders. So Sanders gets a 64-yard touchdown run, a 1.5-yard extra point. And that makes it 21-11. Jason Youngblood with a good block. Let's see him. He's shown some power, Tiandra is. Well, there was the debate whether he had the ball.
Well, he's 215-pounder.
Across the end zone, but he did. And we'll take a break before the kickoff with 7:04 to go in the third quarter. It's a game now. The Aggies 21, the Cougars 11. Play. Tiandra Sanders on an option, a running play that Ed was calling for.
Both linebackers, they catch everybody in a blitz here. So then the defensive backs have to be in man-to-man. So that's really one of the only block he got right there was a good block. But now there's no one within 30 yards of him until he gets down to about the 20-yard line, maybe even down to the 10-yard line, when the people had to come off from recovering the receivers. And of course, Sanders does a good job of taking it into the end zone. Berlin Brown got the one block that he needed there. I see one of the things that happens, you either try to, against a team that's blitzing a lot, you want to run a quick trap right up the middle, or if you split it, you go to the end zone, or if you can get something quick to the outside, you've got all the linebackers and the defensive linemen caught to the inside, and with any kind of running speed, well, you can, pick up some long gainers that way.
There's Tiandra, Greg Hill, and Randy Simmons back. The scoring drive only took 16 seconds, 49 yards. Now you wonder, wow, 64 yards on a 49 drive. Don't forget they lost 15 yards on a penalty, so the drive actually started that far. This is Greg Hill at the 5. And the sideline runs him out of bounds, and it's at the 20-yard line. That's where Texas A&M will put the ball in play. Brisket Howard runs him out. Now this is where it's crucial for the Aggies and their fans to get behind their team to see if they can't get their offense geared up, because the momentum is moved toward Houston. They've scored the last 11 points.
That's exactly right. And Houston is saying to themselves, hey, we did it last year. We can do it this year. The Aggie fans are silenced now because they're thinking of last year's games and also the Tulsa game of this year.
Short carry, about 3 or 4, but nice power. Bevel brings down Carter. And that's not a bad first down play, picking up about 4. Carter, the running back, came into the game averaging 7.5 per carry, but not a whole lot of carries. The average has dropped here. Hill's been
I think this key drive right now for the Aggies in this game.
And this may be the key play. Second down and 6. Another stop. Only a couple-yard gain. They're down to third down again. Linton Weatherspoon on Hill.
Now, that's kind of an easy play for the backers to recognize. Greg Hill was kind of cheated out, and he comes back on a long way to go to get to the hole. It's a very slow developing type play.
It's going to be third and a long 4. They have to get to the 31-yard line.
Again, this is a passing formation right now with the split backs.
Brian Mitchell is wide left. Richardson straight drop back. Bobble.
Intercepted.
It may have been intercepted. It was Houston football. Eric Blunt with the interception. There Eric Blunt, and the Cougars are making the Aggies think, could this be deja vu?
Back-to-back interceptions the last 2 times.
Checking their armbands to make sure they match. Let's take a look at the play.
Great drop back pass. Tight end goes one way, tries to run across in pattern. It hits him right in his hands. The ball should have been caught by Tony Harrison. Bounced out, and the old tip drill. Eric Blunt gets his first interception of the year. Now, great field position for the Cougars.
It is a first down on the Aggie 33-yard line. The floater to the corner, short, intercepted by the Aggies. A bad pass by Klinger. He left it short. It was intended for John Brown 3, and the Aggies get the football back.
Kerry Vincent, I believe, made that interception down there, didn't he?
I guess it was Kerry Vincent. 19, Kerry, who was carried across the end zone on that touchdown run, got great position on John Brown 3 on a short pass. Again, Klinger throwing on the move.
Well, he's throwing on the move. He's throwing to his left, and it's very difficult to get anything on the football doing it that way. He's developing into some, because of all the pressure, I think he's developing into some bad habits. He's coming out here to the left off the faking the counter play, but see, they haven't made that play go, so there's no reason for the Aggies secondary to respect that running play because they have not made that running play go. Just take a look at his throwing motion. He's coming out to his left now. He's going to have to throw across his body. His body's wide open. You see, he doesn't get himself in any kind of position, and you can't get much on the ball when you throw that throw.
There may have been a fumble on this. No, just a stack up at the line of scrimmage. No gain again. Again, the Houston defense holds the running game intact. James Bevel leading the charge. And also Linton Witherspoon. Witherspoon, the son, no, not quite, the younger brother of Chuck. A great running back the Cougars had. Buggy Richardson looks for guidance from the sideline. He's 5 for 8 in the first half. As you can see, the second half has not been so productive. 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Second and roughly 10.
A long third quarter.
He's got a lot of room left. Now the sack time, and he is dropped by Glenn Cadrez. Alan Aldridge, the other defensive end, pinched in from the corners, and he's dropped back in the vicinity of the 10-yard line. It will be a third down and long.
Well, Greg, we said all along that the Cougar defense has played good football. And again, this is kind of looks like it's a little bit of a messed up play again because there wasn't much of a fake from the play action. And as he went out to that side, there was only one receiver there. Looks like maybe the Aggies outthinking themselves a little bit here. We're trying to come up with some things different than what they did earlier in the football game, and this is what cost them the Tulsa ball game and hurt them against Houston last year.
3rd and 19. Shovel pass inside, running room, but not enough for Hill as he stopped at about the 19-yard line. It'll be 4th down. Ryan McCoy making the stop. Pickup of about 9, but they needed 17. They needed more than that. Nigel Ventris with the tackle. And they still need 11, so it's 4th down. Steve Harris will drop back and try to take the punt. He should have pretty decent field position. The wind is still in the punter's face. There's Harris. He has had one fumble on a punt return. Maybe gets it away at the 38. Not much more as he's stacked up there in the 42. Ramsey Bradbury, the first to get to him, number 8.
Okay, but the Cougars will start off again with good field position. They're going to be up above their own 40-yard line.
Well, the thing that the Aggies are doing with their own defense, which is giving the Cougars all these opportunities, is the Aggies cannot control the football. The Aggie defense is doing an outstanding job, but they are giving Houston so many chances to come back into the football game. And in past years and in a lot of past games, that's been all it has taken for them to win.
Well, they've had the ball. This is the 5th time that Houston has had the ball here in this third quarter. Give them teams enough opportunities. Regardless how good you are, they're going to put points to get your defense.
Quickly out to the right side, slow, incomplete. Threw that one undershot it. It was intended on the outside to Marcus Grant, but it was a little short. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And again, I think he threw that one off balance. It looked like he threw it with his, instead of stepping right in the direction, He just kind of fell away, but that's what happens when you get pounded so many times.
Bates might have gotten a hand on it, knocking it away. It's going to be a 2nd and 10. 3 wide receivers left side, 1 lone receiver on the top of the screen. That's number 3 defending Derek Frazier. That flag on that's offside. Sanders got banged, but he just took another bang for nothing because coming around from the outside, the offside was Texas A&M.
Well, that's going to be, you're right, absolutely correct. They'll offside will be a penalty against the Aggies, so it'll make it 2nd down and 5. Down the line option play.
That's the one that went 64 yards, but they didn't have the advantage of coming off sides on the first one.
Well, they didn't catch him in the blitz this time. They caught him in a normal defense. And actually, should have ran that. If he was going to run the option I'd play with the way the defense was set up, it should have ran it to the left. They had receivers out to that side, and they could have went down and taken the defensive back off the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 5. 43 Jackson Atkinson, 44 Quentin Coriat, the inside linebackers for Texas A&M. 3 minutes and 5 seconds to play. Period 3, 21-11 Aggies. Tipped, incomplete. That might have been Sam Adams who got a piece of that one. Big Sam, 6'4", 270. His genes make him a football player, although his dad probably says you're playing on the wrong side of the ball. Son.
Yeah, Dad, pretty good offensive lineman.
All those years with the Patriots. Although Sam started as a offensive lineman, but when they put him over to defense, he discovered he liked it. It's fun.
Well, you can use your hands.
Yeah, legally that is. 3rd down and 5.
They're coming after him. Well, the center ball wasn't snapped. This would have to be illegal motion, I believe, against the Cougars.
England and Wheeler came through, but it looked like line movement. The center and the quarterback didn't move, although David did move the feet back.
I think the center might have been late on the snap count here.
That'll make it 3rd and 10.
Dead ball. False start. Offense.
You know, when people down in there with those getting ready to blitz.
Yeah, the quarterback pulled out.
Quarterback man pulled out. I think he was anticipating the snap, and the snap just didn't get there.
3rd down and 10. Floats it over the defense.
Got a chance.
He's got a 1st down and maybe more.
All the way.
This is going to be down to the 10-yard line or 12-yard line. Kerry Vincent making the stop. And he may have been a face mask tacked on at the end of it, so it may be closer yet to Marcus Grant, the clutch receiver for Houston.
That's the screen, and watch him come back and use the blockers. Fakes one side. You see the lineman moving out there. Now watch him come back and come underneath those blockers right now, right there. I was a little bit surprised here. He didn't turn to go to his right and try to, well, I think the angle from up here as the play developed looked like it was a little different to that. Good job by Vincent recovering on the play.
It was 3rd and 10. They 1st down. Personal foul.
Face mask.
That's going to be 1st down for Houston. 1st and goal to go is what it's going to wind up being on about the 6-yard line.
That's where they spot the ball. The Cougars trailing by 10 points with 2:42 to play. Now that 2-point conversion they got earlier is a pretty big play because if they can get 7 here, they're within a field goal of time. The Aggie fans waving the towels say, you aren't going to get into our end zone.
He's got a good play going here.
Klingler may be able to run it in. Klingler is stopped at the 3. Looked like he decided not to challenge the defense to get that extra yardage. Quentin Coriat ran him out.
Well, he was well, that was exactly right. He was anticipating that lineman would lead him, and if that lineman had made the lead block for him, watch him as he gets out here right now. Now he's anticipating the lineman that would have turned and blocked in front of him. He may have taken it in the end zone, but he picks up a couple yards on the play.
2nd and goal from the 3. Verlon Brown and Marcus Grant wide to the top of the screen. 2 wideouts near side. Sanders with the carry. Touchdown, Houston. Sanders with his second touchdown. And Houston closes the gap to 21-17 with the extra point coming. And Anderson will come in and kick it. And the Cougar band is reveling in this comeback. And the Aggie faithful have to be concerned.
Well, they score on a running play. Right straight ahead, right up the middle. Trap play. Good job by Jeff Tate coming across to make the trap block to open up the hole. Mix that running game in there a little bit. Good things happen.
137. Here's Anderson with the kick. It is good. His consecutive success string continues. And with 1:37 to play, folks, we have a 3-point game. Tiandra Sanders with his second touchdown. His first one 64 yards on an option play. His second on a 3-yard run.
This is 1:37 in the third quarter.
Only the third quarter. Houston trailed 21-0, but has scored the last 18 points.
Oh, they do an excellent job on this trap play that they ran for the touchdown. Take a look at the left guard. See him pulling across there? Boom, he cuts across, gets the key block. Sanders cuts right off of his hip, takes it in the end zone.
I could have gotten a face mask on that one, too.
Sure was. Sure was. Let's see if we can see the job that Wiggum, the center, does. Blocking back to the backside. And a good job by Wiggum taking the backside block. And a good job by number 70, Darryl Clapp, at getting down on the linebacker.
The Cougars, I have to laugh because they're all fired up, and they're down there trying to get the crowd fired up, and there ain't crowd for them.
Well, they're a little bit down around the 10-yard line. And some red in that 10, 15, 20-yard line area.
There are a few people around the Cougar band, but this is Aggie land.
Well,
Cliff Grosse is back. He's one of them back to return this kickoff, and again, a fortunate kickoff opportunity for Houston because the wind is with the kicker.
2 turnovers for the Aggies this quarter, 2 interceptions.
And the wind with them, and that means there won't be that one.
Field goal.
That would have been a field goal from what, 75, 65? No, 75 yards?
75-yard field goal.
He kicked it from the 35, and it went through.
He knows that he's happy. I'm sure that's what he was trying to do.
He says, just give me enough of a run-up, and I can boot that sucker.
Yeah, that fires your football team up a little bit, too. Everything going the Cougars' way right now.
And it's on the 20-yard line. Again, the Aggies have to see some offense. There has been virtually none for Texas A&M in the second half. They've had no drives to speak of. Richardson on the swing back to Hill. Hill gets an opening, and he gets a good yardage, about 8 or 9 yards.
Yeah, that's what they're going to have to go to. Go with the sweeps, get the ball to Hill on the outside. And I would think that probably puts him above the career freshman rushing record here. He now holds it, I would think.
Yeah, that's going to be almost 10. That'll be credited as 9 right there.
Toss sweep. Tosses the ball to him. Lead blocker out there, number 32, and a good job by the offensive tight end. Good job in there by Foot, the tight end.
That's a second and short, but you've not been going very well. I think you just got to go for the first down now. Nothing tricky. And that's what they're going to do. Nothing tricky. First down and more across the 35. Tyrone Davis and Ventress bringing down Doug Carter. You know, that's one of those plays that the reason I'm bringing that up is 2nd and 6 inches like that. If you're doing well, if you're going fairly well, you might try something figuring, well, you're going to pick up the first down. But right now, they need a drive. They don't want to mess around.
Or if you're also in a different field position. If you're in their territory down around the 30, 35-yard line, sometimes that's a good time to gamble. But right now, the Aggies got to get the ball in Hill's hand and run him to the outside and see if they can get something going offensively.
Aggies will get the wind in 44 seconds. That's how much is left. Little quarterback drawn out.
Look out.
On the option. Here's Hill. Outside across midfield to the 46-yard line. Well, this is exactly what the Aggies have to do. John Brown running him out. They got to get the ball in Hill's hands with just a little bit of daylight.
Get his hands onto the outside, I think, is where the success is going to come. Cougars are kind of packed down in there awful tight. Good job by Richardson with the option. Now he gets a corner and no place for him to go except get out of bounds.
Cadrez was the guy that made sure he stayed out of bounds. 36 seconds And now Houston calls a timeout. Of course, it's not much of a chance they're going to.
36.
The wind is going to be a factor on first down. Only 36 seconds left.
I ain't quite sure why they took that timeout, unless it is to make sure that they probably anticipate making some adjustments for these outside plays right now.
Yeah, I think probably they got a call from upstairs saying, okay, you better bring them over. We got to do something about this.
Well, they were kind of bunched in a little bit, stopping that I formation straight ahead stuff. And I think you'll find them loosen up a little bit.
Hope you've enjoyed it. This has been, up to this point, a great football game, although it early on looked like it might be a rout. The Aggies scoring the first 21 points, 21-3 at the half, 14-0 in the first quarter. But then Houston has scored 15 points in the third quarter. The Aggies have not scored at all, and we've got a 21-18 football game with a quarter and 36 seconds to play.
Amazing, this third quarter. This was the 11th possession in this third quarter. Houston had 5 possessions, and the Aggies had 6 possessions. I don't know what happened to my weather front. It didn't get here.
Didn't make it. And it has stayed a nice day. Actually, with the little overcast, it's made for good pictures on the television because we haven't any shadows. And it's just a nice look, and we've had a nice game so far to go with it. 36 seconds to go in the third quarter. Bucky Richardson's team has a 1st and 10 on the Houston 47. Like Joe Chemis, our spotter, and Mike Manning, our statsman in the booth, helping us a great deal up to this point in the football game as Aggies send a man in motion, and the pitch goes to the money man. And Hill gets about 5. The ball is loose, but the whistle may have blown. Let's see. Whistle blew. He was down. Cougars Batiste says, oh, darn. Blunt may have knocked it loose, but a little late.
Fisher called it. He made no bones about it. He was in there on top of the play quickly. Made it. And they made that adjustment to stop the outside stuff. There's the toss pitch sweep. Forcing to go up inside. We can get some help in there from number 42, Eric Blunt. Blunt up off the ground, gets to it. But
yeah, everything from that replay would indicate it was a correct call. Ball didn't seem to pop out until he was already down.
That's last play of the third quarter.
So we will go to the fourth quarter. We will go to the fourth quarter with a 3-point Texas A&M lead. It is Texas A&M 21, Houston 18.
It's dry brew, not watered down. To drink light, yet satisfy completely. Because if true love's not the answer, true refreshment must be.
Vince, come on, we're late. This headbagging is more fun than going through a windshield.
Good night from Iron Maiden. Drive home safe. Remember to strap yourselves in with your safety belts. You don't want to end up like Eddie. Belt up. Don't be a dummy.
November's the month to remember on Prime Network. College football, we've got it on Prime with live coverage from the Southwest Conference, Pac-10 and SEC, plus same-day action from the Big 8. Fight fans, mark your calendars. Boxing's best bouts from around the country are here. And all month long, keep up with your favorite pro teams on Around the NFL. And NBA action. It's a November sports feast on Prime Network. Stay ahead of the pack. This weekend NASCAR gives you the chance to talk with your favorite racers, from Darrell Waltrip to Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd to Ken Schrader.
Only 2 races remaining on the Winston Cup Series. Dale Earnhardt and Ricky Rudd join us from Phoenix, Arizona this Thursday night on This Week in NASCAR. Hope you can join us.
This Weekend NASCAR, live from Phoenix, Thursday night at 11 Eastern on Prime Network.
This telecast telecast is authorized under rights granted to Special Order Sports and is not intended for the commercial use of our viewing audience. Any reproduction or the use of this telecast without the express written consent of SOS and Home Sports Entertainment and Texas A&M University is prohibited. Oh, I almost got that right. There we have some of the fans. And as I say, the whole purpose of that is to make David Klingler dizzier than he already has been with his inner ear infection. It is a second down and 5 for the Aggies. First down to the 33-yard line. Hill again on the carry.
Chess match goes on. Now the Aggies anticipating that Houston's going to play the wide side of the field for the sweep. Call the sweep right back down into the short sideline and have success to pick up the first down.
The Aggies with their best drive since the first half. Really, their only drive.
Only drive.
Keith McAfee is in now, tailback. There's the breakdown, running and passing. Not as one-sided as it might be to give inside of the fullback for short yardage. James Bevel on Carter. Carter the carrier, but he gets about 4. It'll be second down and 6.
James Bevel.
And Carter will now come out. We're also making a change in the receiving corps. Leaving as Matthews, is back in as Mitchell. And there's 87. He's Jason Matthews.
He's the tight ends. 2 tight ends in the ball game now.
Second down and a long
2 tight end running attack.
Option but Bucky. No pitch, but he almost gets the first down. He's about 2 yards short. Richardson on the keep as he tries to go around the corner, and Nigel Ventress, Nitro, out of Port Arthur, a junior redshirted 1 year, is now third down and 3.
2 sophomore tight ends in the ball game for that 2 tight end attack. Sharp, the starter, and Jason Matthews.
This could be 2-down territory for the Aggies. It's third down and 3. Although the wind is with the kicker, it's really going to be a coach's option if they don't get it here, as long as they don't go backwards. Richardson dropped behind the line of scrimmage. That was nearly a fumble, and McAfee is dropped for a loss. Alan Aldridge put some pressure in, and John W. Brown finally came through, so it is a 4th down. Quarterback pressure by Aldridge, and now that pretty much makes it a kicking situation.
Good anticipation defensively by the Cougars. Great penetration. They anticipated the outside play, the outside option. They stuffed it. No place for him to go, and now you're going to see Vinny Tuilis with his longest field goal attempt of the year. He's made his longest is 44. This one is 47.
47. He's got the wind with him, but he's off left. The Aggies get no points, and the Cougars get the football back. Oh, this is a game don't go away. 12:51 to play, 21-18. The Aggies lead by 3, and we'll be right back.
Today's game is being brought to you by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 20 years of providing everyday low fares and convenient flights to many exciting destinations.
Hello. Research indicates we Americans create too much garbage. So I have spent years developing worms that eat garbage at astonishing rates. Some eat more than others.
There's an easier way to save the world. Recycle. To find out more, dial 1-800-CALL-EDF.
Straightforward.
He's been the focal point of your offense for 6 or 7 years. It's devastation.
Controversial.
Week 1, how do you fire an offense coordinator after week 1?
Unpredictable.
How about Ray Sherfield?
Well, you know, to each his own.
Bill Parcells. Mike Francesa. Complete analysis and insights into each week's pro football matchups. Around the NFL.
Every week on Prime Network. Baseball, To play the national pastime is the American dream, but to play for your nation is a dream come true. Come support America's top 90 athletes as they compete for the final positions on the 1992 USA Olympic baseball team. Homestead Stadium becomes a field of dreams as it hosts the USA baseball team national trials November 1st through 10th. Tickets at all Ticketmaster outlets or call 305-246-USA1.
Here with 12:51 to go in the fourth, Houston will have the football. How about around the nation? I'm showing you some of the scores. Notre Dame by 4 over USC. Washington rolling on in the second. Not too close between Nebraska and Missouri. Whoosh.
Notre Dame scored a little closer than what you might have anticipated.
Yeah. And Washington is an outstanding football team, and the way it looks now, there will not be a battle between number 1 and number 2 at the end of the year because of the bowl commitments. Well, the Aggies want the defense to do it again to David Klingler and company. Klingler starting from his own 30-yard line. Here comes the backside rush, and he is sacked, not from the backside, from the front side by Pat Henry. Coverage was good downfield because he would have had enough time to throw, but there wasn't anywhere to throw it.
No one was open. That's about the 7th sack of this football game. Backside pressure is coming all the time. They're always rushing a linebacker from that offside. Now he steps up in to avoid that, and eventually breaks down.
And I saw maybe Verlon Brown, but he wasn't looking for Verlon. He obviously wasn't his first choice. He didn't have much time to go for a lot of other ones. 2nd and 16. There's a quick out. Gilbert cutting back inside, still on his feet. He's up to about the 37. Quentin Coriat, Jason Atkinson finally teaming on the tackle, but that was a good gain. It'll be the 3rd and maybe 4.
Well, again, the pressure on Klingler, and again, he takes a pretty good hit here at the end of the play. Watch him as he's back. Boom, down, gets him twisted around. And amazing, he gets up and pats those defensive linemen who are beating him up at the end of each play. He gets up, pats him on the head. That's admiring.
3rd and 4. Cougars need to get to the Aggie 40. They're there. First down inside midfield across the 50. That was John Brown 3 making the catch. Kevin Smith on the coverage.
Well, that might have been the best pass that Klingler threw all day long. He really zipped that in there. He really put that one in there. He knew he had to get 4, and he wanted to get rid of it quick, and he got himself set and zipped it in there.
A 19-yard pickup to John Brown 3 to Dodge City, Kansas. Senior.
The Aggies are now getting a little worried about the things that are happening. The fans.
On the 47-yard line. First down, Houston. Gilbert, he's got some room to maneuver, but not much. In fact, he ends up losing a yard. He had room to maneuver, but Kevin Smith covered so quickly when he did all the juking, it just allowed the defense time to get closer. Buckley again putting pressure on. He's always putting pressure on the backside. Buckley, in fact, traditionally, the Aggies have put great pressure on quarterbacks, and they generally do it from the outside linebacker on the backside. It's not just against Houston, it's against everyone.
Well, if they had a play where they threw the second pass off of that, Dave, this might be the time to call it the way the Aggies are reacting to that right now.
2nd and 11. Tried to go with a running play, but Deandre Sanders only gains a yard. Jason Atkinson with the tackle. It'll be 3rd and right about 11 again. He didn't even quite get 1. Tried the little draw, but
Atkinson coming from the backside, knifed in between the blockers and made the play. Both teams looking to their bench to get the plays. Aggies defense looking to the defensive coaches, and Cougars offense looking to their coaches. And now everybody's set. Big
3rd
play.
and 11 from the 49. Klingler spins out of the initial tackle, but he is brought down for a loss. Sam Adams with the sack. Lance Teckelman put the original pressure on, and the Aggie defense comes through again. At about 20.
Let's take a look at it and see the pressure that he's under. Inside rush there by Teckelman. Misses him, and he throws him right over into Sam. The play was set up by Lance Teckelman. He took an inside rush, knifed down inside, and forced him over to Sam Adams.
Evan Smith back to return the kick. He will be at about the 20. Langston puts it high. He takes it on the 13. And down he goes immediately on an onslaught of Cougar Red.
Great coverage by the Cougar special teams.
Tyler Muko, who is a special team star for the Cougars, the first to hit him. And before the Aggies put the ball in play, we'll take a timeout. 8 minutes and 59 seconds to play in the game. It is the Aggies 21, Houston 18.
This weekend NASCAR live Thursday night on Sunshine Network.
RC Hills got $10 million. Yes, through special arrangement with Orange Finance, RC Hills World of Wheels has over $10 million available to finance any vehicle in our inventory. And with our 95% approval rate, reestablishing your credit is no problem. Get $2,000 minimum trade-in allowance for your current vehicle. And with over 300 vehicles in stock, we've got the one you want. Hurry. Our exclusive $10 million line of credit won't last long. You need to see RC Hills World of Wheels.
Two powerhouses bump heads on CD's High School Game of the Week, Monday, October 28th. It's the Winter Park Wildcats at a Pop Gun. Game time, 6:30 on CD 16.
Story on America's favorite thrill sport. Join host Eli Gold for This Week in NASCAR. Live from Phoenix, Thursday night at 11 Eastern on Prime Network.
Fourth quarter action left, 8:59 to go to be exact. It's the Aggies 21, Houston 18. This game summary now being brought to you by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 20 years of loving you. Houston has started at their own 44 average third quarter position. That's one reason they scored 15 points in the period. The Aggies didn't have good field position. Of course, they did not have the wind in that third quarter. The Cougars took advantage of that.
Well, interesting, Greg, the Aggies only had 52 yards of offense in the third quarter, while the Cougars had 148 yards of offense. And the Aggies committed 7 penalties in that quarter.
First and 10. McAfee breaks loose. First down across the 30, 35, 40. And runs out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. Big gain. Tyrone Davis finally bumped him out. But I don't know whether the Cougars were starting to show a little fatigue or not, but they had some chances to bring him down a lot earlier and didn't.
Good blocking up front. He does a good job of following the blockers. Cuts back inside of it. Now he goes back to the outside. Used a little straight arm there. Goes down the sideline and finally steps out of bounds on the 42-yard line.
2.5 blocks, perhaps, that he broke on that, or tackles he broke on that. First down for the Aggies. They've got some roaming room now. The give inside to Carter. He gets across to the 45-yard line. A pickup of 3. Tyrone Davis and Linton Weatherspoon on the stop. Second down coming. The Aggies 2-0 in conference play, 4-1 overall. Houston 1-2 in the Southwest Conference and 2-4 overall.
R.C. Slocum's got that worried look on his face right now. He had this happen to him a couple times in his coaching career. Teams coming from behind, beating him late in the game.
8 minutes and 20 seconds to play. The Aggies with the lead mainly have to just make sure they don't turn it over. Here's Bucky Richardson throwing it in. Well, he had an open man, but he overshot Short, the tight end, cutting across the middle. And it'll be 3rd and long. Linton Weatherspoon put some pressure on Bucky. Bucky has not had a good second half passing, and he passed very well in the first half.
No, Short was wide open on this one. This was a kind of a play-action pass where Bucky was coming out to his left. The wide receiver on the left side is going to clear it out to the righty screen, fake the play action. The wide receiver out there is clearing it out. You see this tight end coming all the way across there. See how wide open he is. And he just missed him.
3rd down, 6, a long 6. Excellent catch by Tony Harrison. The split end.
We got a penalty
Face mask on A&M. Offensive face mask.
Well, as I told you, Greg, this is the 12th penalty now against the Aggies. They only had 4 of them in the first half. Now they've come out here the second half, and they've got 8 penalties in the second half of this football game. You can't have penalties and turnovers and win football games.
And remember,
against the offense, 15-yard penalty.
Remember, Houston has lost a touchdown due to a penalty and has fumbled a football on its own 5. They still trail by 3 as it is, only 3. And statistically, the Aggies have the edge.
And Houston playing on a little adrenaline now. They're smelling the chance to win a football game, so the tired factor may not be quite as big as it normally would be.
3rd down, 22. Now Bucky Richardson needs to hit on a long gainer. This is the situation where perhaps the Aggies are most questioned.
Well, this is a dangerous situation. This is when you can throw that interception because the defensive rushmen are going to come after you.
Richardson tries to run out of it, and White fumbles the ball. It is. Nope, it's down.
I think the official's going to say
the
that's
official
down.
marked the ball. It is down. Actually, both of them marked it. James Bevel and Ryan McCoy on the double-team tackle. And Houston will get the football. They won't get it in quite as good a position as they would have had there been a fumble. Tyrone Davis recovered what almost was one.
Nobody was open downfield. And of course, the Cougars, same position that the Aggies have been in most of the game, where they're just turning loose and rushing. Oh, instant replay. Might have reviewed that one, but it's not in college, so
no.
They will be punting.
That was close. Steve Harris is back again. There's a flag down on the play from scrimmage. Harris calls for a fair catch and runs it out of bounds. The wind has shifted. It is now with the Cougars. What wind there is.
Well, I would think they'll decline this penalty. That was about a 45-yard punt with no return. The 5 yards is nowhere near giving them the first down. So I think the Aggies will take this play, Greg.
Noticing the flags, Ed, just a moment ago before he got the punt away, he no longer has an advantage.
Well, it's kind of different. You look down this to the left side.
It's swirling, apparently, around the... In fact, you look at a lot of those flags. They're going all different directions.
Yeah,
but early in the game, it was definitely blowing right to left.
Yes.
Now it's the other way around on the big flags to the left of the scoreboard. Your weather must be coming.
The wind is turning around. It really is. You're absolutely correct. Look at those flags turn.
Well, there's your wind, and look at the flags now. The flags would have been blowing in Houston's face, but they aren't. First down. Well, flag on this one. Who moved?
Tackle, right tackle move. Right tackle move. Defensive man came across, but he got back, and then the right tackle, Darryl Clapp, moves. Penalty should be against the Cougars.
That'll make it 1st and 15.
And you feel it getting a little cooler also.
Amazing situation. It's the wind should have been against Houston in the 4th quarter because of the way it had been blowing for the first 3 quarters. It is not at this moment against them. Incomplete. Outstretched arms of Gilbert, not long enough. It'll be 2nd and 15.
Well, each play is important right now when you're down to 7:19 to go in the 4th quarter in a 3-point football game. Every play you want to make something happen with it.
7 minutes and 19 seconds left.
Well, what a break for Houston with that wind shifting, though, Greg.
Trouble. He needs to throw left-handed. He runs out of bounds. Not a sack, it might as well have been. Buckley and Teichelman ran him out of bounds.
Yeah, now they're going to come up with a real tough situation. It's going to be 3rd down and just about 20. Well, you can see the pressure come all the way. As soon as he comes out from there, you can see Teichelman, then Buckley coming across to get to him, and boy, he was trying to knock the ball, forced the fumble by taking his right hand and dropping it down on the ball. 3rd and 25. Now a dangerous situation for the Cougars.
Can't force this. You just got to get it out far enough so you can get a decent punt.
Well, that's kind of against the theory, though, of the Cougars.
Yes, it is. He's having to talk to his linemen to make sure they know the snap count.
They're trying to audible the play.
They play it safe.
Good decision. Good decision. They're still in this football game. The defense is playing well. They should get the ball back.
Teichelman with the tackle after a gain of perhaps 5. It'll be 4th down, 25. Kevin Smith will drop back. The wind will help the punter.
Well, let's see whether he gets any kind of hang time on this. Put the clock on him.
Langston is a good one. He's also a decathlete, one of the best in the Southwest Conference last spring. Get the kick away from about his own 5. High snap. Cuts it through the wind, not particularly long and low. Kevin Smith will get it at least to well, maybe not to midfield. Good block there. Now he's got a wing on the right side, and he runs out of bounds at the 47-yard line. And good block by Antonio Shorter, who really helped spring him. Otherwise, he was going to lose some yardage.
Well, Kevin Smith showed exactly what experience can do for you back there. He set all this up, and he was setting it up all in his mind because he knew he wanted to get the return to the right. Only thing that RC said to him, you were lucky the official didn't throw a flag on you for throwing the football up in the stands. The officials didn't catch that. They would have really cost him 15 yards. But he did a great job with a punt return, but at the end of it, he tossed the ball up in the stands.
The Aggies have not been a fourth quarter scoring team. They have been a first half team all year. They don't need to score now. They just got to make sure the Cougars don't score anymore. As Hill breaks forward and has the first down going out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Just enough. Well, now let's see. Where they're going to mark the ball. He may be just an inch or 2 off, but it's going to be a second down and extremely short regardless. Either a first down or a second and extremely short. They're going to say first down.
Again, running him outside, as we talked a little bit earlier, they're going to have to go to the outside attack. Oh, good block in there. Good contact by Carter. He gains his balance and picks up the yardage. And that's all he needs. He just needs that partial block by that fullback. He doesn't need anybody clean. Look at Hill's statistics. 24 for 138.
The average is over 120. He's beaten that average. All-time best season for a freshman running back in Southwest Conference history. Short yardage gain. Weatherspoon with a tackle on Carter.
Tackle by number 56, Weatherspoon.
Again, a field goal, neither one of these coaches are thinking ties, so a field goal, what it does is at least it forces Houston to get 7, although that's what Houston would be going for anyway.
I would put Houston in a position that a touchdown and an extra point could win the game for them.
But a field goal wouldn't even tie it. Of course, right now the Aggies want to make sure they stay away from that. A tie for Houston doesn't make a whole lot of difference because they don't figure to be in the race anyway. And they don't get it. Only a couple yards on the keep by Richardson. It'll be third down. Aldridge and Weatherspoon again doing the job on the tackle. They've had a good game, both of them.
Well, they got a little bit of guessing situation when they run that option into the short sideline. They were probably anticipating that Cougars might be doing something to the wide side of the field, and there just wasn't anything there.
Running left, as you've noticed. See if they do it again. Yeah, there's left. First down. Carter to the 22-yard line. Good block by Greg Hill as he sprung his running mate in the backfield.
Good call. Well-executed draw. They come out in split backs, which is normally their passing formation. He goes back showing it. And there comes the lead. Now look at Hill on the lead block in through there. He leads for Carter. And that's what makes you really appreciate your good football player. They'll go in there and do some blocking for you. That's a first down conversion in this second half. First third down conversion in the second half for the Aggies. They're 1 of 8, Gregor.
Well, they did it at the right time. After having their drive stalled last time they had the football, they run another one here. And it's first down at the 22. 4 minutes and 42 seconds to play. That is now a factor in the football game. Hill cutting outside, uses the block to the 10, 5, touchdown, I think, or is he out of bounds?
Wow, no, touchdown.
A&M. Keith Alex with the block that made
shows you everything about Greg Hill. He did everything a great back needs to do on the play. He used the blockers. He showed speed. Watch as we take a look at this. And let me tell you something. This is just a great play of why he's going to be a tremendous football player. Right now he's following his blocker. Now he's going to use his speed to get to the outside. He's going to make a move in and out here. And watch the power when he gets down into that area to get into the end zone. What a tremendous play. Just displayed everything that he had right there.
And the extra point would make it a 10-point game. Venetoulis to kick. It's through. No good. Off to the left, apparently, as they signal to the left. Well, it's a 9-point game, which means it's still in doubt somewhat with 4:30 to play. The Aggies 27, the Cougars 18. .22 yards puts him over 160 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns.
Well, I'm just so impressed with this play. He just comes inside like he's going to work the play inside. Now he has to use speed to outrun some defenders to get to that outside. Turns the speed on there, makes another move to get back to the outside. And now at the goal line, look at lower his shoulder and get into the end zone for his 8th touchdown of the year.
The scoring drive went 5 plays, 46 yards. Hill's 22-yard run capping it. The Aggies missing the extra point, 27-18.
Well, did they need that drive? Did the Aggies need that drive to keep their Southwest Conference hopes alive?
Now Houston's in a situation in the short kick to keep them from the run back, but that's going to give them pretty good field position. As Houston gets the ball at the 43. Explain that one to me.
I can't explain that with you. I can't explain that theory at all because, number one, Houston has not been a very good kickoff return team all year. Sanders, who's a return man, is averaging 10 yards a carry. Polk, who's back there, is only averaging 19 yards on a return. So they have not been a kickoff return team. I would have no idea why they would try that strategy, especially with a 9-point lead with 4:25 to go in the game.
Now Lorenzo Dixon brought it back, and it's up to the 43.
Now, unless the kicker was instructed to kick one of those crazy kicks that keeps rolling down through there, which he may have been able to do that. And that's what endears you to your offensive lineman when you realize that they did the work for you. We got to love this young man here.
At least they did, a lot of it. Another sack. Klingler dropped back at the 37-yard line. Eric England and Marcus Buckley, pressure and sack.
I hope no one ever tells me that David Klingler is not a very tough quarterback.
Oh, my. You got to be made of steel.
Oh. And especially coming off what he came off of being sick and out.
And it's been that way for him. Except for the first game of the season, every game has been that way for him. 27-18. Second and 15. Running room. Tiandra Sanders gets about 7 of it or 8 of it back. Quentin Coriat with the tackle. It's going to be 3rd and 8. Ball at the 45-yard line. Houston needs to get into a position here where they can get at least 3.
Well, this big play again from Cougar standpoint if they have any type of chance to remain in the game.
Klingler turns it around. He gets it to Grant. Grant to the 50, and that ball. Down he goes, and that saves the first down. What a hit by Coriat again. He put the hat to him.
Well, they call him the Terminator, and he terminated that play. Wow.
It'll be 4th and 3.
Now watch him come in here to make this tackle from the top of their screen. Right there. Wow. 240-pounder.
Of course, Houston has to go for it with the clock ticking. 2 minutes and 42 seconds to play. Houston must get to the 47-yard line. They're just on the other side of the 50.
They want to throw that quick pass. Won't take too long, or that defense will be on top of him. And they're going to get a free play. They were offsides. They had the first down anyway, but it's the first down. Going to be a first down for the Cougars.
England was the man who jumped the gun, the Sugar Land Willow Ridge sophomore. Very quick, and he showed it. And I think it's going to be against the Aggies, so that will give Houston 5. Well, now wait a minute. John Jenkins is saying decline it. They must have gotten more than that. I didn't see. Yeah, they did. I see where the ball.
It's just about the same. About
maybe,
the same.
It's about the same.
He wants to add to their rushing yardage. They need some rushing play. They got the first down.
Stats man John, huh? It's 27-18. It's a 5-yard gain, and it's a first down, and with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go, Houston holds on to the football. A few people, if any, have left early on this one. Clock ticking. Backside, dump off pass to Sanders. Sanders to the 35, to the 30, inside the 30, and still struggling forward to the 25-yard line. First down, 15-yard pickup, 25-yard pickup. Check that. Derek Frazier finally making the stop. Sanders, who played a good deal as the backup last year to Chuck Witherspoon, but had not been playing a lot this year. Ostel Miles doing most of the running with Tommy Guy. And Sanders is by far having his greatest game as a collegian.
Hey, Klinger held on to that pass just as long as he possibly could before he threw the screen. He took a beating again, and he could have delivered that one earlier, but he really helped set the play up.
Minute 47 to play. The ball is at the 25. Klingler goes to the outside man. Gilbert tries to find running room. There is none, but he gets out of bounds to stop the clock. Jason Atkinson ran him out. Freddie Gilbert, the transfer from UCLA by way of Huntsville, Texas.
We'll roll out to the left, looking for Gilbert all the way. Hits him and makes a great attempt to run. And he decides, well, let's get over, see if I can get out of bounds and stop the clock.
2nd and 4, gain of 6 on the play. Pump fake, throws left, again off the screen. Complete pass. It is close to a first down. Think he's got it. Quentin Coriat on the tackle of Grant. Or check that, John Brown 382. And Coriat's tackle is a little shy. It is a first down, so it'll be 1st and 10 from the 14 for Houston with a minute 29 to play. Houston needs to score quickly and then, of course, try an onside kick, but they've got to score the points first. And they really need to get it in the end zone as soon as they can without forcing it. Klingler is making some adjustments to the line of scrimmage.
He's trying to call audibles. Tough to do.
The give to Sanders, and he has nowhere to go, and he's stacked up for a loss, or no gain at worst. Coriat and Atkinson, the interior linebackers, and a timeout will be called by Houston. 27-18 with a minute 7 to play. And we hope you're enjoying this one on Special Order Sports and HSE.
I think that's the last time out of Houston. They don't have any remaining now, Greg, so they need to get it in the end zone quick if they should have any opportunity to recover the onside kick.
Hope is in a receiver slot. Well, actually 2 running backs now. And the pitch on the end around. Here's Douglas. He's going to throw. He wants to throw. Nowhere to throw it. He runs out of bounds. Well, he didn't force it. There was nobody back.
Well, he could have thrown it to Klingler back over on the far side of the field. Klingler was down in the end zone by himself. I thought that's where he's going to go back with it.
Once he rolled so far, though, Ed, that would have been too far a throw, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably would have been difficult for him to throw it all the way across the field. But Douglas kept looking out to the right. But Klingler, the quarterback, was eligible after he made that handoff.
Okay, let me ask you here. 3rd down and long. They don't make it here. They've got to kick a field goal.
That would be the smart thing to do.
Because that way you've got a chance on the onside kick to get the ball back.
That's exactly right.
Because if it's too long, you know you're not going to get it, or your odds are very long.
Way to go, Coach Gray.
Well, let's see. But let's see how it goes.
Hey, you've learned a lot of things down through the years.
It must be from Ed. 3rd down and long. Klingler looks in, looking, and that hurt him. That knocked him back farther. Eric England with the sack. Another sack of Klingler. He really needed to get rid of the football.
But they're not going to put their field goal unit in, and that's what they actually should be doing. Doesn't look like they're going to get the field goal group in there. Again, there's another sack, which is starting to mount up pretty good right now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ed. I think even though this is a longer field goal, You got to get 3 somewhere. He has got to get to the 5-yard line or it's going to be over. To the end zone. Intercepted. Harry Vincent in the end zone.
He's going to run it back. He's going to run it back. Well, he stepped out of bounds. They're saying he stepped out of bounds.
Stepped out of bounds at about the 12. Klingler with a strong throw, but
Greg, you were completely right in your analysis of what should have probably been done in that situation. You got a great field goal kicker. You need 3 points, which would have given you 21. The onside kick. Your opportunity to go with 4th down from that position on the field to try to put the ball in the end zone. The percentages is highly against it.
Well, the Aggies come through with a big defensive play. Vincent with another big one. That's a couple for him in this game. And now the Aggies have just 22 seconds to run out the clock. 1 snap and it'll be over, but I'll tell you what.
That's the fourth turnover for the Cougars.
Fans have got to be happy with the football game they have seen today, especially neutral fans or Aggie fans, because it has been a good one. A lot of action. A lot of thrills. Houston didn't give up. Houston's defense played the entire game extremely strongly. And the Aggies came through when they had to. They mounted a couple of drives in the 4th quarter. They only scored 6 points in the second half, but those were the 6 that made the difference, really. 65, is that right? 65,812 is our attendance. And that's the ball game. That'll be the last snap. And the Aggies are winners, and
well, the Aggies continue their domination. Their record against Houston at College Station, 12-1 and 2 ties.
Still undefeated in conference play. The Aggies go to 3-0. The cannon booms, and the Aggies win the football game by a final score of 27-18.
Well, Belvin Robertson there and RC coached many years together. Ben Hurt, those people are all longtime friends there. But I tell you what, the Aggie football players have to be congratulating David Klingler. They know what a beating. They know the way they went after him, and they have to be telling him just what they really feel about the exhibition that he put on here to try to keep his football team in the game.
And both teams with a high-spirited football game, a lot of vicious hitting, showing sportsmanship that you would expect from college athletes.